Welcome to the No Ideas original podcast featuring Shannon and Mr. Rob. Let's get Rob in and get right to it. Hey, Dr. Wade. Hi, Brianna. Brianna's my little one, everybody. Bring Rob in. We're going to have a great discussion today. All right, there you go, Rob. Oh, Brianna, actually, Dr. Wade is the book. She wrote the book that I got for you. So
What's
that's
up, bro?
your formal introduction.
Cool, Brianna. What's up, Bree Bree?
What's up, Rob? How you been, man? How you doing?
Man, I'm holding it down, bro. Trying not to get sick. Weather's changing. It's getting a little colder up here. See, and they got turtleneck on, right? See that? It's getting cold up here in these fucking mountains, bro.
You been out there in the yard working?
In the yard, the leaves are coming down. Look like snow covering the damn grass. You can't even see the grass. So many damn leaves.
Yeah, it's tricky because one day it's like 70 and the next minute it's 40.
40, 55, man. So I'm just trying to stay on top of it, man, because my immune system is a little tapped.
Mm-hmm.
So I got to stay on top of it for these next 5 to 6 months. So it is what it is.
Outsource that landscaping for now.
Listen, next year might be a different story. Next year, bro.
I told you, didn't I tell you get old fast?
It does, but because I'm home a lot, it keeps me busy, and that's what I appreciate. You know what I'm saying? It does keep me moving around and have an obligation to go out there and really tackle it because it's a big property. You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot to cut, it's a lot to maintain, bro. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Man, you got the Yankee fitted on. I got home early enough today to watch my Yankees lose.
Did they lose? They played already?
They lost. They had the 1 o'clock game. They lost.
Uh,
They lost
they,
in extra innings.
that was the makeup game for the rain out yesterday.
Yeah, man. It was a heartbreaker because every year the Yankees got the same issue, man. Like we got everybody swinging out of their heels. They hit a home run instead of being contact hitters. So it kind of puts us in a position where in the playoffs you face that premier pitching, and when you facing that good pitching, you ain't gonna hit all them home runs. Like Aaron Judge is struck out almost
He
every
struck
time he
out.
got up the bat.
He struck out twice Tuesday.
Yeah, now he got 7 strikeouts and like 9 at bats for the series.
See that? Focused on 62. Now you can't even get one. God damn it.
Man, let's get into the topic so hopefully more people will join us. So, the first thing I thought that we should talk about is, and I don't know if you've been following this, Rob, Kanye wears the White Lives Matter t-shirt and
Yeah, I've
expresses
seen that.
his frustrations towards his corporate partners in the world of fashion. As a result of what has been called anti-Semite remarks, he was banned from IG, and LeBron James' shop pulled their episode also. He was supposed to be on the shop and
Right.
LeBron James podcast. They pulled that episode also. What do you think about this? What's your
He,
thoughts on it?
he made anti-Semitic remarks?
That's what they saying.
Wow. Now, when you do that, they cancel your ass real quick. You know what I'm saying? But the White Lives Matter thing. Now, mind you, the media controls everything, bro. So you got to be careful what you read, what you watch, because they can lead you astray. You know what I mean? And I've seen a lot of people saying, "Oh, he wore MAGA hats. Now he's White Lives Matter." You got to remember, this dude got white children.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And I guarantee they identify themselves with their mother, their aunts, their grandmother, although they know their father is black. And I think Kanye fights for that. That, can I use the word co-cultural? You know what I mean? Dual cultural. You know what I mean? Being that they are from two different backgrounds. Um, who knows that that wasn't for that? But what he said, what it was from, is that, you know, I see white people wearing Black Lives Matter. I don't need you to wear a T-shirt to tell me that my lives matter. So when he's wearing one, he's like saying, "Well, white lives matter." Now what? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what his reason for that, because this is Kanye. You know, he has his reasons, and he doesn't always clarify why he says it, because he knows what sound bites is. He knows that people will listen. He
Mhm.
knows TMZ and paparazzis are following him. And remember, this man is a billionaire, man. And upon that statement, I think he was on had an interview with Tucker Matthews, I think his name is, from ABC.
Carlson Tucker from Fox News.
Carlton Tucker, right. And one of the things he mentioned was how he's pro-life, and how um, there are more abortions in New York City than there are killings. In other words, that's leading the death in New York City. Mind you, 50% of all abortions across the nation is, well, he said all abortions in the black community are the leading deaths in the black community, next to killings and all that other stuff.
Well,
But
you
no
better.
one,
We got to fact check Kanye. Like Kanye ain't somebody who I take his.
but you know what? But they're not putting that out, you know, versus the Roe versus Wade type of thing. They're not mentioning
Mhm.
that. But they're mentioning him wearing the White Lives Matter. Look, the boy wore a MAGA hat. We already know Kanye is, you know, he's the poster boy for the, how media portrays him. And you gotta always, this man is a Gemini, man. So taking nothing from Gemini, Geminis like to communicate. That's their premise. Communication, put shit out there to make people think. And I think that's right where he's at. He's right in his lane.
Yeah.
Like, he's right where he wants to be with that. Now, mind you, all lives matter. We know that. You know what I'm saying? We was mentioning Black Lives Matter. We never said that white lives didn't matter.
Hmm.
That was never the premise. The premise was because of how our lives were being treated. Yo, what up? What up, God? Peace and blessings to you. I see you. I appreciate you tapping in.
Yeah. My
Um,
thing, yo, Rob. I think you hit the nail on the head though when you were saying like we don't know why he's doing it. My thing with Kanye though is I feel like sometimes everything that Kanye does is to be a provocateur. Like
that's it.
he says these things to be provocative. I think one of the things that people do to Kanye that I'm not really for is that they dismiss him and say that he's crazy. And to me, that's dismissive. Like I don't think the dude is crazy. I'm gonna be real with you though. I don't agree with his political ideologies and his actions. Like I think he does a lot of things that to me are just off-putting.
But that's
One of my
okay.
one of
That's
my one,
okay. We got to get to the part. We got to get to the part of living that you don't have to agree with everyone, and because you don't agree
exactly
with them, you don't have to cancel them either. People need to
exactly.
grow up with,
So
because you don't believe what I believe, I fuck you. Nah,
yeah.
son, you should
Nah,
have to
nah.
do that.
So the way I look at it is like this. I look at it like to me, when I think about Kanye, I'm like, a lot of times the stuff that Kanye seems to be passionate about are things that impact him immediately. So when Kanye had
Right,
the issue with Def Jam, then Kanye became very vocal about the recording industry and how contracts were unfair.
yeah,
When Kanye had the issue with his corporate partners in the fashion world, he became very vocal about business and partnerships and how come they don't allow people of color to have a seat at the table and how come the creators get cheated out of what they're supposed to get in terms of ownership for their creations. When his marriage fell apart, he became vocal about how important it is to keep black families together and
right,
things like that. And I just feel like,
right.
if these are the things that you're passionate about, why does it necessarily have to happen to you before you become vocal about it? Like I've seen 100% transformation in Kanye from when Kanye first started out. Like Kanye first started out as this artist that was very much pro-black, like
Mhm.
his mom was a very strong and continues to be a very strong influence in his
Educator.
life.
Hmm.
And his mom, a lot of his message came in his music was through his mom.
Right.
But there's been a shift in terms of, I think he noticed when he made the comment about George Bush that, okay, I can make a
Don't like
provocative
black
comment
people.
and people won't get rid of me, they'll embrace it. And this was pre-cancel culture also when he made that comment.
Hmm.
So now the things that he say, I don't necessarily think that it warrants him being canceled. But I also kind of go back around and I think about like you know, like in terms of leadership, like why do people see Kanye as a leader? Because he has a voice, because he has a platform, because he has
Yes.
this huge reach. But Kanye
Yes.
is not the dude that I go to in terms of political discourse. Like I don't really, his brand of politics is not my brand of politics. You know,
Right.
his methodology for getting stuff done
Right.
is not one that I'm in agreement with. And
Right.
I listen sometimes and I see like there are a lot of people that are very supportive of him, which they're entitled to be supportive of him, but then they condemn people that are actually doing some of the work in the community. Like I think there's more critique and criticism of Tamika Mallory and my son than there is around the
Oh,
stuff
hell
that
yeah.
Kanye does. You know, and I think the thing is because of one, Kanye celebrity status, but also I feel like because there are certain people who are just attracted to the opposite. You know, like whatever, playing devil's advocate
Mm-hmm.
for everything. You know, like so because Kanye represents the unknown, there are people who really like that. Like, you know, he's the wild card. You know, just because you're saying the opposite or you're being a contrarian to things doesn't necessarily mean that your position is right. You know,
Right.
where we have to grow, I think, as people is we have to, like you said, we have to create space for that discourse to be like, all right, I'm not in agreement with you, but that doesn't make you a horrible person, which makes me think about like his interaction with JP Morgan Chase, where they saying that they don't want
Right.
to do
They dropped
business
him.
with him. Like
They dropped him.
that to me is extreme because you know how many other people that are banking with JP Morgan Chase or in business with them that have what would be deemed to be extreme views around stuff, and you don't hear about that. Maybe we don't hear about it because they're not the celebrity that Kanye is, but that to me seems very extreme.
Listen, man, J.P. Morgan was backing Jeffrey Epstein when he was going through his little kid trafficking. They ain't dropped him. You know what I'm saying? They kept him on the business call still. Listen, man, you know, Kanye is always
Rob,
gonna be.
hold on before you go. I would be interested for all the people that's currently in the chat. Do you? Yes, I think Kanye is. I look at Kanye as a leader. No, I don't look at Kanye as a leader. I'd be interested in seeing people's opinion in terms of Kanye's leadership.
I got a funny feeling I'm gonna hear unanimous. Hell no.
No, you be
Now
surprised
you'd be
because I think for
surprised.
everybody thinks for different things in leadership.
And you know, they go one no. And you know what people need to do sometimes too is do some research too. Don't just take what's off face value because oh hell no, Nelson. That's two no's. Because
Three,
most people do not do research, man. They do my man everyone is saying, nah, son.
five.
Yo, son, listen, that's a hard no. And that's only because I think because of how we view him, the things, the antics he's already displayed. It's hard to believe someone who just flies off the handle. Look, he's backtracking a 9-year statement he made to Sway, and Sway was absolutely right with saying, why don't you build it yourself? But
Mm-hmm.
Kanye is in that, and he felt as though he was in that lane with the Louis Vuittons and all these upper echelon fashion houses where he can walk in with the status that he has and change the culture. They'd be like, no, bro, you don't run it like that. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And now he got beef with Adidas and everyone else, where now he needs to think about doing on his own because we're in that atmosphere, we're in that climate of do it for self, which is an old adage, but you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? But um, Kanye, I hate using the word crazy because he's
Nah,
not
you
crazy.
can't call him. He's not crazy.
He has, he has a formed opinion because of, for one, who he is, where he's from. His mother was a big educator and about you know, just in his life with so many different things. And we've talked to Ron Fest about that, man. Kanye is a different spirit. He comes from a different background. You know what I mean? When he first came out, this kid was a clean collar kid making beats that everyone loved with a backpack and an Argyle sweater on. He didn't come from the corner bodegas like most of us come from. So, you know, he might be a leader, but he won't be a leader for the collective. I mean, because he has a large following.
I want to go back to what you were saying, Rob, about like the fashion house stuff, because I really think that this is part of the issue, you know, of where Kanye is currently at. Like, I think Kanye is so ego driven that a lot of his rants and his frustration with the fashion industry is because they didn't embrace him on the level of
Right,
what he thought he should be embraced. And the
right.
thing about it is, so here's Kanye with all this celebrity status, all this money, this huge following and everything. He would think that it would be a natural fit, but they did embrace Virgil, who passed away. You know, and Virgil was doing big things with Louis Vuitton, and that was his friend. And as a result of it, Kanye and Virgil, you know, end up having issues in their relationship. So to
Hmm.
me, it's like, okay, white lives matter when you're seeking predominantly acceptance from, you know, you
From
get what I'm saying? From
right
those
from
people,
from those
you
same
want to
people.
be, you want to sit at those tables and you want to have conversations with them, you know. And I just can't, again, I can't get what I think that we owe each other as intellectuals
Good point, Nels.
the space to have these dialogues around and stuff, and a space to actually be like, you know what, we can agree to disagree, but I still respect you as a man. The thing with Kanye though, what throws Kanye off is that it's like Kanye will see people, everybody saying left, and Kanye will say right. And he may not necessarily
Automatically.
have
Yeah.
rationale or want to give explanation for why he's saying right. And most of the time when I see him saying right, it's because, you know, whatever he's experiencing in the immediate. So, you know, if your position is that you strong on family staying together and everything, why does it take you and your family to be in conflict for you to actually be vocal about that? You know, if you're
About that.
very much pro artist in terms of getting the right record contract, why does it have to play out in the form of you backtracking and looking at your record contract and saying, yo, my record contract is trash? You know, and then as a result of that, artists that he has signed came out and talked about the deals that he
Right,
made with them also.
right.
You
Well,
know,
yeah,
so to me, it's like everything is
Big Sean
motivated
in them.
by his agenda. I'm just at a point, I think, in life where I'm able to separate his artistry from who he is as a person. But that's not specific to him. That's specific to other entertainers and other people. You know, like I sometimes struggle with, you know, the thing around like people believing that some of these artists should have some kind of social responsibility. You know,
Right.
like do we, because of Kanye's wealth and who he is, his celebrity status, do you think that do you think that he should have social responsibility? That we should be like, yo, Kanye, you need to be the voice of the black people, or you need to be the voice of the oppressed, or you need to be this or be that. Do you think that he owes that to us?
Nah, not at all. Not at all, man. Man, this man is an artist. And artists are free thinkers, man. That's the reason why he is the way he is. And he's suffering from Dame Dashism, if you ask me.
Put in the chat. What do you want me to elaborate about?
Um, he he like I think Nell said, he has a different demeanor, man, and the way he comes across and his way is very arrogant, and nobody wants to deal with someone with an ego like that. When you're talking about millions of dollars on the table, or moving the culture a certain way, although the culture has been moved by another culture, and that's how we're living now. We're living in the European culture, if you ask me. But
Mhm.
the way to go about it and trying to um, what's the word I want to use? Trying to capture back our culture, our way of living. It's going to take some work, but it goes to how we do it. And going back to the Sway situation, we need to do it for ourselves. We need to collectively continue to work together, not looking for no handouts or no reach outs. You can do business with people, yes.
Mhm.
But if we don't have a collective, we don't have a foundation to build on, we can blow in the wind at any given time, man. So shout out to Tamika Mallory and my son for being boots on the ground, because that's what they're trying to establish. Do it for your damn self.
Yeah.
Let's stop allowing the culture vultures, if you will, to usurp our energy and take our passion and turn it into what they want to turn it into. And then they promote it media wise to the general masses. And then they think, oh, this is the new trend, it's the thing to do. But who's behind it? Think about Black Lives Matter. Who was behind that?
You know
George
why he didn't?
Soros.
You know
You know what
why
I'm
he didn't
saying?
do it himself though? You know why he didn't do it himself? And Jaslyn, what happened was he signed a number of artists. John Legend used to be his artist, Big Sean was his
Big
artist.
Sean was an
One time
artist.
Mace was signed, Pusha T, he had a number of artists. And Big Sean came out not too long ago
Grammy
saying I
family,
think that
son.
that Kanye owed him millions of dollars from unpaid royalties and things like that. For in terms of though, like what you were saying, like him doing it on his own, that sort of goes back to the part around the reason why Kanye didn't want to do it on his own is because Kanye wanted to do it at an exclusive level for that
Right.
European
Out the gate.
acceptance. Like he wanted to be seen as a top tier brand. And part of Kanye's conflict with Adidas now is, I think what happened was Kanye wanted his shoes to be exclusive. And now Adidas has gotten to the point where now they're re-releasing them. They're in like mass production. Once upon a time, it was difficult to get a pair of Yeezys. Tiana Taylor was signed too. It was hard to get a pair of Yeezys, but now Yeezys come out every week and Adidas is mass producing them. So guess what? If it's mass produced, it brings the value down on it. You know, that's why things that are one of one or in limited quantities have higher value.
High value.
And Kanye wanted, he aspires to be upper echelon couture.
An elite.
And
he wants to be an elite.
And things like that. And when Sway was telling him, like, look, you could do it. You know, you could be a Shabazz Brothers, a Cross Color, a Karl Kani. You have the money. You have the means. You could go out and do all that. I don't think that he saw those brands as being comparable to the Louis Vuittons, the Gucci's, and things like that of the world. But now I think after having not got a seat at the table, after trying to partner with these people, that I think that he's probably rethinking that. You know, Kanye had an opportunity to work with Louis Vuitton. I think he designed 2 sneakers for Louis Vuitton, you know. So that was the extent of his partnership with them, was design. He wasn't going to get a seat at the table, you know, as, yo, all right, you're sitting at the table as, you know.
But that's my point, Shao. He was in the design part of it, not the distribution, not, you know what I mean, the overall putting it out, just the design. That's what we want you for your brain. We want you for your imagination. After that, I'm going to take that and I'm going to patent it for myself.
And your following.
And your following. Right.
You know, and you're following. But truth be told, this is the dilemma that he runs into, though, when you start talking about, you know, maybe Adidas it could work with, but when you start talking about LVMH, you know, and Balenciaga and all these different brands, you know, these brands were successful long before Kanye, and they're going to be successful whether they partner or work with him or not. And I, you know, and I think him wanting that acceptance, he really wants that acceptance, is like, that's what I kind of think has gotten away from him. The other part of it is I do think that Kanye has some form of mental illness, but I'm not going to go out on a limb and say that he's crazy because he's eccentric or does things that I don't agree with. I honestly believe that he probably is also still suffering from depression from losing his mom.
We all got some form of mental illness, bro. Whether where you grew up, how you handle it, there was never a lane for us to deal with mental trauma. There's never a lane for us to, you know, talk about what it is that we go through on a daily basis. You know, we come from environments where we're harassed by police. How do you deal with that when you were only accused for selling drugs or doing something you wasn't supposed to do? That's life changing. That's mind altering. That every time you hit the fucking corner, you got to be ducking because you don't know if they gonna come and harass you. That alone, I mean, we're all dealing with some level of PTSD, man. All you got to do is hear about a gunfire or a gunshot or shootout, and you end up with PTSD. How do you manage that? Not everyone goes to. Huh?
He's a clown. He said, nah. He said, DJ L Pro, he's a clown. Do you think that's why he went? I think he wearing trash bags because I think, like I said, I think he wants to be a provocateur. Like I think Kanye just is like, everything has become about shock value with Kanye.
Yo, Pro, Kanye trying to take people's brains out here, son, and leave you standing in the cold with a cold sweatshirt on. And people fall for it. And that's why people buy holy sweatshirts and them sneakers and everything else, man, because people are just they just want to be trendy like everybody else. There's no more originality, man. Originality's in the trash right now, bro. You know what I mean?
He needs a strong black woman in his life. Look, I'll tell you this, man. If that's what you're waiting for, I don't see that happening.
Kanye ain't going for that, son. I don't. Who knows, bro? We'll see.
I don't see that happening. I think what Kanye needs is probably to, you know, I think whatever medicine he was on, I think he need to get back on his meds. And I think Kanye, honestly, he just has to be able to live with and be accountable for the things that he says and the decisions he makes. You know, there are people that are going to have opposing views, or people that are going to say things that's going to be provocative. And to me, I just feel like, you know, like you just have to deal with it. Like if you make the kind of comments he makes, you have to deal with the consequences as a result of making those comments, you know. So if that means that you alienate portion of your audience, you know, or the people who purchase your shoes or whatever it is. It just is what it is. And why should you care if that's where your values and your morals lie, in terms of
Right.
like, yo, this is what I stand on. You see the dude from Goya and the Pillow dude during the Trump stuff, they were very vocal about that. They were supportive of him, and they didn't back down from it. You know, they lost
Not a
support, they
nickel.
lost consumers, but it was where their morals and their values align.
And people still buying Goya to this day. How about that?
Yeah. He's suffering in public and everyone has an opinion of him. Yeah, I think what happens is when you're a public figure, you know, people are
You
gonna
catch that
people are gonna
backlash, man.
have an opinion. The dangerous thing though about Kanye though is that I think there are some people who really care about the opinion of what people have to say. I don't know if Kanye cares about the opinion of what people have to say, and I think that Kanye is kind of comfortable and enjoys being in the spotlight as a result of some of the stuff that he says.
He said, no, sir. He told
There
us
you
Nick in
go.
Paris.
That's a fact. Yeah, that's true. That's a fact. That's yeah, and look, that's what it is with Kanye. I think Kanye is gonna say or do whatever Kanye wants to do, you know, and
Dr. Wade said, I don't know if he's suffering. Because I think he knows how to push buttons, bro. You know, call that mental illness or call it, you know, Kanye's off his keister. But he knows how to, like, that person that just knows how to pluck your nerves. Kanye is
yo,
that.
that's it right there. Exactly what Young just said. He cries to the public when the elites don't accept him instead of standing on his own and growing his brand without the elites in their circle. So you want to
Come
come back
on.
home
How about
when
that?
when they shun you. You want to come back home.
Yeah, son, but them doors gonna be locked soon, bro. He gonna come back home and ain't gonna be no lights on the porch, bro.
He you know what? He want to come back home for support, right? You want to come back home for support, but he don't want to come back home because it's where he want to be.
Right. He just wanna come back and be like, oh, you still love me? You still love me? All right, I'll be back.
Yo, but check out the audacity. How could you come back home and you coming back home to a place where you still saying the kind of stuff you saying and think you're gonna get acceptance? Or maybe we're under the impression that home is coming back to us. Maybe his home is somewhere else.
Right. We don't really know. This is Kanye, bro. We really don't know about this guy, man.
Yo,
God bless him. Either way, God bless him. I wish him the best, you know, because at the end of the day, he's going to have to live with what he's made for himself.
exactly.
You know what I mean? And all we have is an opinion about what he does or what he doesn't do. At
Mm-hmm.
the end of the day, he has to live with all of what he says and does, bro.
Exactly. Yo, let's switch gears and talk about 50 Cent's son. Did you see this? His son getting backlash online
Yeah, let me
for
tell you
saying
something.
that $6,700 a month in child support wasn't enough. What are your thoughts about this?
$6,700 a month equals to 80 grand a year. Are you crazy? For someone, and mind you, now he's 25. So what were you doing up until you were no longer a minor? Now, mind you, his mother went to child support and was getting 25,000
Mm.
a month for him. But her greedy ass went and said, I want more. And the judge said, hold on, you can't manage 25 grand a month? Matter of fact, let me take about 20 off of there and give you 6,700. Now, mind you, even with that, the entitlement is you know, and watching people's pockets. I don't understand this kid. This kid is 25 years old. You're a grown up, bro. Yes, your father is who he is, but you
Sure.
don't have no relationship with him because you haven't fostered a relationship with him. You know, it's one of them cases where you got a bitter baby mother. Your father ain't shit. He ain't this. He ain't never do nothing for you. You can hear that kind of tone coming from him because he has the audacity to say, "What is 6,700? Boy, did you do the math? You by yourself are getting money where there are families that are living off for 80 grand right now with 2 and 3 kids.
Mm-hmm.
Not to say I don't know how it ends a meeting for them, but you're a child. You're a kid. So if you're getting that, and if you were getting 25 grand a month, what was your mother doing with that paper?
Yeah.
Come on, son. That's preposterous. But let me tell you this. When you poke the bear in the cage and 50 is the wrong bear to poke, That man will go to petty school on you. I love that he's sitting in the tub. Like,
Yeah.
listen to this kid. What is he doing? So why is
Yo,
they're
this must
25 years old, bro?
this must be the show of provocateurs though, because he's another dude that's
Another
a
one.
provocateur 50. But yo, Rob, let me say this though. Like I think literally speaking, he's incorrect. Meaning 50 son, like I don't see how you could say that $6,700 is not enough to live off of. But metaphorically speaking, metaphorically speaking, he's correct. And I'll explain what I mean by that, because
Yeah.
there's no amount of money that you could put on emotional support, how you call it, mental support, spiritual support. There's no amount of money that you could put on that as a father. So, we see it all the time with dudes that's their fathering is based on just giving their kids stuff and just purchasing things
Right. That's right.
rather than the time, so you could be a wealthy dad and get your kids anything that they want. But what your kids probably really want is the opportunity to spend time with you. Like, look, for my youngest, one of the things that I really like, yeah, I buy him. Well, I used to buy him stuff. He's going to be 20 this year, but I used to buy him stuff and everything. But one of the coolest
But you see how you said
experiences,
that? You see how you said that? He's 20.
yeah. But one of the coolest, but
Now he's
also the
buying
other
his
thing
own
is
shit.
the other thing is that I'm not on child support, but the other thing is that
I get it.
the value of actually being able to take my son to a Jets game and sit front row with him at a Jets game, or take him to a Knicks game, or go out there and work with him on his car
That
or stuff like
that
that or
bond.
whatever, is
Yes, sir.
very different than me saying, well, yo, here's 5,000, here's $6,000 a
Go do
month,
what you want to
and
do, right?
yeah, and that. So I say all this to say, like, I think the money enough is more than enough for him. This was more than enough for him to survive on.
Right.
But would it have been of more value to him to take less than that and actually have a relationship with his son? And no,
Absolutely.
his son still doesn't receive child support. I'm guessing this discussion is about previously how things were.
How
And
things
then
went up until, yeah.
the other assumption is what we see is that 50 is the mouthpiece, and he's far more verbal, and he's in the public eye. So we know his side of the story. We don't know the kid's mother side of the story. All we see is just an entitled kid that's going crazy and saying all this wild stuff.
Right.
This same kid has to watch 50 on Instagram actually interact with his brother, his 50's other child.
Up until the child, right.
So that's why I go back to, I look at it and I'm like, all right, so there is a piece where he's incorrect. $6,700 is enough to take care of, like you said, a family. But the other part of it though, is that I'm sure a part of him would have appreciated, like, forget the money. It'd be nice to have an opportunity to have a bond with you. Yeah. And 50, hold on, Rob, before you say that, for everybody that's saying also in the chat that 50 was attempted to engage him. That's why I said, like, we know 50's part of the story. We don't know the mom's part of the story. 50's the public figure. That, and that's all we know. Yeah.
And what I was going to say was that, the bond or the relationship is worth more than any dollar amount. Like you said, having the opportunity to sit with your son, go to the game with your son, or just share some experience that you have that you might even see your son going through that he's having trouble dealing with. That's why you're there as a father. You're the foundation, bro. You're supposed to embark on him some of the things you went through so that he don't have to go through them. When there's a separation of family like that, when you have, the father's not there and the mother's doing all of the work, and she's there providing to make, kid catch chicken pox, I'm taking him to the hospital. All these different things happen and there's no father there. There's a disconnect. Unfortunately, a lot of my friends that I grew up, including myself, lived in single parent homes. And yes, did we want our fathers there? Of course we did. You know what I mean? But, in my estimation, there was other men that came into my life that provided that source of knowledge and inspiration, but my father wasn't there. Maybe he's not receiving that, and who knows what the language or the environment he was in just being with his mother. There could be some real bitter blood between 50
There could.
and homegirl. Who knows if 50
There
didn't
could.
cheat on him when she was pregnant with
Yeah.
him and went. There's a lot of that going on. But
Hmm.
you know,
But yo,
like
the flip side of that, Rob, is it also couldn't be.
right.
You get what I'm saying? It also couldn't be like, yo, for the fathers that's in the chat right now, because I know dudes. I'm being, I'm being real. I know dudes go through this with women, and I know that some women wear the label as bitter baby mothers and stuff like that.
Hmm.
But I don't know if that pertains to all people who have children and
Hmm.
just don't have a relationship with like fathers that ain't involved. Like there are
I
fathers.
mean,
Let's be as a man. I'm gonna keep it 100. There are fathers that just choose not to be involved, and it don't really have anything to do with the woman.
it's a fact.
But there's a strong narrative that's been created in society that when the pops ain't involved, that it's because the moms was bitter because of whatever it is. Like sometimes it's just the dudes is like, yo, I'm not gonna be with you. We can't have we can't have nothing. I keep the kid. You do your thing or whatever, and it just happens. There are women out here that raise their children on their own and don't bash the father, even though the father's not involved and the pops don't step up. Then the flip side of it is there are women that become resentful and then take out whatever their frustrations are with the man on the children, and then you have situations that come up. So again, I think that with 50 being in the public and him being who he is,
Hmm.
to me there's a tendency to kind of go with whatever the narrative that he created. There was rumors going around that 50 tried to burn down her house. I don't know if you ever heard that they
I
said that
heard
50,
that.
they said that 50
I
tried
heard
to.
the house. I heard the house did burn down. I don't
Yeah.
know if he was responsible for it,
So
but
think about it. Like, think about how easy that narrative has gone away. If people were saying that they speculated that he was an arsonist to burn down the house, that narrative is going away much faster than this is just a bit of baby mom. Like that's something like from a societal standpoint that I think that we gotta kind of think about. Now, can I agree with you that the kid is entitled if his position is that he needed more than $6,700? Yes, that would make him classify as a brat.
right.
Like that's it. Somebody said in the chat, that's a fact. There are people that don't make 80,000. There are families that don't have a combined income at 80 grand a year.
8,000.
Yeah, so that
And they
comment.
take care of their kids. Let me shout you out for being a dope dad. Let me shout out El Pro, my man that's listening right now.
Mhm.
Single dad, man, is putting his child through college right now. You shout out another brother, my man Jimmy, Boo Francis, got 3 sons in all of their lives. And these are some great kids that these men are raising, man. Good, respectable kids. I could go on a list of great men out here doing their job. But
Yeah.
even when there's a divide, even when there's a divide and you know that the child is more important, like I said, it's all right to disagree. You put that shit aside and be like, whatever beef we got, out the window. Out the fucking window. Keeping it real. Let's maintain a structure for this child so this child can at least see us be cordial so that we can
Mhm.
get the job done. And that's all we need to do. I'm not asking, we're not married, we're not taking this relationship nowhere, but we do still have a responsibility. And our
Mhm.
responsibility is to this child to make sure it's
Exactly.
reared right, it grows up the right way. However that may seem, because even in a two-parent household, some children don't grow up the way you want them to grow up. But at least, there's still an effort to instill the right moral standards in the child, so when they do get older, they can say, you know what? My pops told me not to do this and I didn't do that. My mom said this, that, and the third. You know what I mean? And
Mhm.
they're not together, but I love them both. When a child can come out and say that, you done your job. Shout out to them brothers I just mentioned too, man.
Yeah. Yella said kids aren't pawns, and oftentimes that's what they're used for, sadly. Nah, that is true. I mean, with him being an adult now, he's what, 24, 25 years old.
25 years old,
Um,
man. I got a 25 year
yeah,
old
I
daughter
would
that's
hope.
living crazy right now. Her life is sweet for
Yeah.
25. You know what I mean? And her mother reared her, gave her everything she need. You know what I'm saying? And from a single parent household, and she was one of those parents where she didn't cry and complain and take homeboy to child support. She was like, look, this is my daughter. He don't want to participate. I'm going to participate 100%. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? I'm going to find a way it's going to get done. And she did an excellent job.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Nah,
So,
I think the other thing, I don't know. I was having a conversation with somebody, and I was saying this the other day that I think that what happens though is that people don't realize that you don't have to be financially well off to be a good dad. Like there are other
not at
contributions that you
all.
can make beyond the finances. So it's sad that we equate financial contribution to have more
Wisdom,
value than what I said, like emotional, spiritual support,
knowledge, and wisdom is
mental
always
support,
better than silver or gold. I don't give a fuck because you
experience.
experience because you can carry that with you for a lifetime. Money is flat, it's fleet, it fleeters, man. It comes and goes. You lose it, you get it back. You lose it, you get it back. But if you get some sound wisdom, some sound knowledge in your head that sticks with you, I walk with wisdom my father gave me at 13. Here it is, I'm
Mhm.
pushing 50. And I live by that almost like a code, bro. And it's kept me out of trouble. It's kept me out of jail. It's kept me off of drugs. It kept me respecting women. You know what I'm saying? And I live by those rules, man. And this is something given to me in the 80s, late 70s. And I still remember that. And that's what I'm talking about. When you can have a relationship, and that's maybe what 50 should conjure in thinking. All right, screw the money. What you really want? You want my time?
That's what it
Here's
sounds
my
like. Yeah.
here's my time. You know what I mean? Let me foster this relationship with time. Don't ask me for no money. I can see 50. Don't ask me for no money. I'll get you a job. I'll make you a producer or something. I don't know. I'll do anything for you. Maybe put you in one of my movies or shows or whatever. But that's what's needed. Maybe he needs that. If he's calling for that, I think 50 should answer the call because if he's calling for that, give him something that he needs that he can walk away with, bro.
Yo, I think that that's what he wants, but I think the
But don't use
popular the
money
popular
for it.
yo the popular belief though I think is that the mom tainted him and ruined
Yeah.
the relationship, and that's the narrative that's out there. But here's the thing though, right? Here's the thing that I think, and I didn't come from a household. I was fortunate enough to have my parents involved, but I think that when you have everybody to me has a lore to know where they come from,
Yes,
right?
sir.
And I think that if a person is working to condemn a father, right? They're working to condemn a father, but the father shows up and the father tries his best. Yes, kids are impressionable, and if they have to hear all day your dad ain't shit or your dad is this or your dad is not that, like some of that is gonna sink in.
It's
But the
gonna
flip
stay there.
side of it is I also think that kids value consistency and say, like, you know what, my dad said he was gonna pick me up, every Saturday or whatever, he come pick me up. My dad said he was gonna take me to the game. My dad took me to the game. My dad said he was gonna come to graduation or whatever. He came to graduation. My dad
Uh-huh.
did this, my dad did that. So, you have both those voices in the kid's ears, and the kid get put in the middle, but also there's proof of concept. Like there's demonstration that, wait a minute, your mom has all of this stuff to say about me, but these are my efforts that you're experiencing and you're seeing, and
Right.
I don't know with 50, in fairness to 50, I don't know what his contribution was, because somebody said in the chat that he did have him around when he was younger. And I remember seeing him around when he was younger. I don't know where the relationship changed, but I think
Right.
that if they could move away from the money and focus on rebuilding their relationship, it would be a grateful thing. It would be a great thing, because I watch Raising Kanan and I look at him like it's a great show. 50 Son is a splitting image of him. He'd be perfect for that role. He will be perfect for that show. And it's unfortunate that all these years are going by and more years are going to go by before they actually see or experience some type of resolution in their relationship, because it seems like both of them have very strong personalities around it. But
Yo, he looks
money
just
can't
like his
offset
pop
the
too.
contribution. Money cannot offset the contribution in terms of what you do for your kids. So you could give a kid $10,000 a month, or mom $10,000 a month in child support for the kid. That does not make you a good father. That just means financial
Right.
support. Yes, you
Financially,
were
he's taken care
financially
of.
supportive, but there's a lot more that goes into actual child rearing than
Yeah.
financial support. Like,
Structure. Structure, discipline, bro. Can you get up on time? Can you be somewhere punctual? It's a lot of things. Can you how you manage yourself? Can you speak clearly? Because when you step out the house, you represent your parents, bro. I still live by that.
yo, I know dudes that didn't have a dime to their name, but would get up every morning and walk their kids to school. Like that to
Facts.
me, yeah, that to me is far
Facts.
more valuable than somebody who's not in their kid's life, but they got to pay $700 a month in child support.
That's
Like,
involvement. Involvement is big, man. Involvement, encouragement is big. The money is just it fleeters, man. It comes and goes, man. But when you're involved, it's the biggest part, bro. That gives kids confidence. That gives, just imagine, man. You playing ball, you score 2 points, but you hear your father, "Hey, kid, what? You turn into Superman after that, son."
Yeah.
Just that
Bitter,
alone.
bitter baby mama will destroy a kid's relationship with their father. You can give time and money, but it's not what she wants to be. They cut all ties.
There's
I think,
another
I
strong
will say
father, another
this.
strong father that just joined in. My man Jay.
Yo,
He's always in his
I
son's
will
life.
say this though. I will say this though, that I do think that there are some women that do have, ill intent, and they definitely do, things that make it hard for a father to be involved,
That's a fact.
in their child's life. But again, I would say like there are also women that are good women that are raising
That's a
children,
fact too.
and
That's
there's
a
fathers that drop the ball as well. So I don't want to just stick with the narrative that dudes that's not involved in their kid's life is because the baby mom, is bitter.
it's
No,
right.
it's just some dudes that like, it's just some dudes that check out, man. It's just some dudes it's brothers that check out and don't want to be parents for whatever reason, and that don't really have nothing to do
Don't be
with the women.
responsible.
And that's not,
Don't
and
be responsible.
I don't know if we could get stats. I don't know if we could get stats on that because I think that that's kind of subjective too to each person's experience, right?
In my
Like
opinion, I
each
think
there's
there are more healthy fathers in their children's lives than there are not. That's my opinion.
mhm.
I think there are
So
more healthy relationships with fathers and their kids, even if they're not with the mothers. You know what I mean? Even if they are able to get a phone call here and there, those phone calls are positive phone calls. At least they hear their father's voices. You know what I mean? These things are happening, man. But of course, it's not gonna be on no news channel talking about how good fathers are. You got it. If
Radical
you
Notion
know them,
said,
what she
my
said.
ex didn't have the money and it was tens of times, but kids need both parents. It's not their fault. Shit don't work out. That's true.
That's a
Yeah, that's,
fact.
yeah, that's true.
You brought these kids here.
I would ask the fathers in the chat also, for the dudes that's in the chat that have children, you know, if you love your children, is there a woman that could keep you away from your children?
I
Like
guarantee you, there's gonna be a no. Not for the brothers that's on here. I know that for a fact. They gonna stay in their kids' life.
Yo, so then my next question after that would be, how you call it? So what is it? Not everybody is as resilient. Some people are like, yo, forget it, I'm throwing in the towel. I'd rather not deal with it.
Some people are like that, man. Some people will be like, "Yo, she's using this kid as a I don't know a
Weaponizing the
weapon.
kid.
They weaponizing the kid, man. Like, and that becomes that will make a man uninterested. Like,
In
I
their
gotta go
child?
through all. Well, just the point of parenting. Like, if I have to go through that in order to take my kid to go get some ice cream or just have a healthy relationship. Listen, man, peace of mind is some of the most
Mm,
wealthiest things to have, and to have to go through that in order for the child to know who you are is cumbersome. Now, shout out to those who go through it because I know some brothers who do go through the fire, bro, just to hear their child's voice.
mm,
Peace, Nate. There's some people that go through the hell, bro, and they stay resilient and they stay focused because they
mm.
know it's the child, not the mother. She can be as
Yeah,
bitter as
yeah,
she
yeah.
wanna be. You know what I mean? It's important that I have a lasting relationship with my son, my
Mhm.
daughter. They know who I am. They know what I'm about. They see what I'm about. And brothers show up for the call. So shout out to those brothers, man. There are a lot of them, man. And like I said, that's not gonna come across the news, bro. No
Nah,
one's gonna publicize that. No one's gonna put that out there, son.
it's not interesting.
It's not an interesting topic.
It's
Good
not.
men taking care of their kids. The fuck?
Oh man, yo, let's move on and talk about our next topic. Did you watch any of the Jeffrey Dahmer series on Netflix yet? And you see that the families of his victims are upset. Should they be upset? And if so, why? Why do you think they should be upset?
Well, no one wants to relive a trauma of knowing how their child has passed. No one wants to live the trauma of their child passing, period. But for a platform to relive the heinous acts that this man has um, made with these families and the things that he's done to these victims. I wouldn't want that to be relived, man. I don't think that's good energy, to be honest with you. But for whatever reason, the person put it out. They felt there was a story that needed to be told.
Hmm.
I don't know if that was a good idea, man. You know what I mean? But this is American society. Anytime there's something tragic, it ends up turning into an epic damn film. I don't care what it is.
People
I'm
love those
surprised that,
stories.
yo, son, there's always those stories, man. Even from 9/11 to, there's so many different things that before you know it, it's in the movies. Like, why are you doing? Why are you reliving these things? You know,
Mhm.
and a part of me says, this is just a way of keeping people in control, keeping people in fear, that there are people out here. Just mind you, like something like there's a little bit of background with this cannibalism and Jeffrey Dahmer. Now, Jeffrey Dahmer was one individual. Now, to mean to tell me there aren't other individuals that are out here eating people, just keep it a stack because
Not with
during
yo,
Jim
not with his
Crow,
popularity though.
During Jim Crow and Jim Crow himself were cannibals. Now, this was a practice that was going on during public hangings. They have public hangings and they have public burnings. Now, these public burnings come from the term pick a nigga.
Hmm.
We use that term as picnic because now you can barbecue. They was barbecuing people and eating them at the same time. If anyone would like to read a book, a great book to read is The Delectable Negro, where slave owners were doing heinous things. In the book, Mr. Wood mentioned he suggested a provocative term that slaveholders were parasites who fed off of black bodies in acts of cannibalism and sexual modes of consumption, bro. Like, what type of sadistic individual can look at a man and says, you know what, your private parts are big, I want that. And you decide to devour that. Like, that's savage behavior. But, this has been going on for the last 4, 5, 6, 700 years. When emperors would kill and take over their enemies, they would eat the heart of their enemies. So this is not new behavior. Jeffrey Dahmer is not new behavior, bro.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? I remember doing research back in the days. There was an old it was a audio clipping. I found it on YouTube some years ago, and it was a reporter talking to an old rabbi, and the rabbi was saying how they would call people goyim, and I guess goyim was a term for slave. But he said a lot of these missing people don't realize, when people are gone, you don't find them. Yo, people are gone because food shortage is short.
Mm.
Now, I'm gonna be honest with you. When I heard this man, he said, "Don't be surprised if you don't find these food people in your hamburgers." He said it just like that. He said, "Yo, we put these bodies in the slaughter, and we send these patties and these burgers to your farmhouses, and before you know it, you don't know. Everyone's probably a cannibal at some point. Now, that might
Yo,
turn people's stomach, but you just don't know. A lot of people go missing, never found. It's not always sex trafficking. You know, the adrenochrome situation that happens with drinking kids' blood. There's so many different things, but the delectable Negro, because our bodies are so mineral rich, melanin rich, that there are things that we have that other people don't have, and they because it's eating people, bro.
you know what the difference is,
I
though.
wouldn't have brought. I wouldn't. I don't mean to cut your wisdom, but I would. I don't like the fact. I didn't even watch the damn thing. Once I heard that it's a Netflix, I say the fuck. I'm not watching that shit, man.
The reason why though, the difference is pop culture, and now it's been added into the cycle of pop culture. That's what makes a story compelling. No, it's not a story. No, it's not a story that's new. People know of the story, But this time the story is supposed to be told from the perspective of how the cops dropped the ball on it. At the end of the day, it's re-traumatizing for the family to
Right.
have to relive that experience over and over again. I just don't. I look online and I see what probably makes it even more re-traumatizing is the phenomenon that it's became. Right, you see memes, you see all kinds of
People
different things
playing
pop
with it.
up and people making fun of it. And that's not something to me that somebody ever gets close. You could never get closure from something on that scale and that kind of public eye. You know, I don't I watched the first episode. I didn't watch the rest. Um the first
But it made
episode
you sick to
the
your
first
stomach.
episode
Keep it
didn't blow
real.
me away. Huh? What you said?
It made you sick to your stomach. Can be real.
It was, you know what? It was nothing different than what I knew from the story. So for
Okay.
me to see it, I was like, all right, so what's the premise of it? And then I researched it. And I was like, okay, they're supposed to be telling from the perspective of how the cops dropped the
Drop the
ball.
ball.
But I'm like, I don't know if it's for me. And I see in the comments somebody was saying, I recognize we've had all these other stories that have come out about true life events that people actually make films about to retell a story or reshare the story.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things to me about film is that I feel like that there needs to be more stories. There needs to be new stories. And I think I'm not a film creator, but I think sometimes film creators will say things like, you know what, there are multiple ways to tell a story from multiple
All the
perspectives.
way
And
to skin a cat.
I can respect and I can appreciate that. I just don't know, well, actually I do know that if I was a family member of a victim, I would feel some kind of way about it.
Hell yeah.
Because the other part of it is, let's be real, the dude who created it is going to profit off of it. I haven't heard anything about any proceeds going to the family as a result of it. The thing debuted higher than Squid Game, and I think Squid Game before was like the #1 debut for Netflix. It outperformed that. So, people are watching it. And it's one of
People
those
are
things like
interested.
everything else we see, like a train wreck where people can't turn away. And it becomes pop culture, cult phenomenon, people turning in. You see the memes online, you see the jokes. It got so crazy. One time I looked online and I seen something where they had a screenshot where Rick Ross said on Twitter, I need somebody to find me the Jeffrey Dahmer glasses. I want to buy the glasses like Jeffrey Dahmer. Like what kind of society are we living in where the glorification of a serial killer and the serial killer's his contribution, his legacy is not going to be about the horrific things that he did, but his contribution to pop culture where people have monetized these atrocities for families. I can't wrap my head around
Why,
that. Like
why that happens. And why
some of
that
these
happens.
other
And it
stories
happens.
though, I do find value in. Like I see they doing the Emmett Till story. Like I'm interested in seeing that. I've actually been down to the museum also in DC and had an opportunity to see the exhibit. I'm interested in
How
seeing that.
was
And there
that?
have been other
How was
depictions
that
of
experience?
that. It was a powerful experience. It's emotionally draining, man. It's emotionally draining. Like to actually walk in there and to have to look at that and look at our history and see
Right. In that
the
light.
demonization, just the degradation
Right, bro.
and to relive that, so
Why?
look,
Why are
so
we
kind of
repeating that?
to flip that experience and look at like what these people must be experiencing as a result of sitting in the seat of seeing like, all right, this is how my loved one's demise is being depicted for monetary gain, but the creator saying, yo, I just want to tell a story from another perspective. I don't know if I could get with that, bro.
That's an excuse, bro. That's an excuse. You know the climate of the world. The climate of the world is looking for heinous things like that. That's why people repost fights and shootouts and shit like
Mm-hmm.
that. Because the mind is so curious that it's like, I want to see what happens. Did this man really have a foot in his freezer? Did he really have someone's arm? Did he really do that? Or was it just a story? And that's what I mean. Books like The Delectable Negro. Even read the book Medical Apartheid, or there's another book, They Were Her Property, talking about female slave owners. The things they were doing to black people was heinous, bro. And like
Mm-hmm.
I posted not too long ago about your ancestors and where you come from. So in the last 400 years, all your grandparents. It took about almost 4,000 grandparents and parents to get you here. But just imagine what these people went through so that you can still be here, bro. All of the struggles and the trepidation and all of the running and hiding and I'm sure there were good times in there. That's all in your DNA, as it was in his DNA. So his DNA, he's just living out his DNA. Jeffrey Dahmer just lived out his DNA because his
And,
ancestors were cannibals, just like he was. You know what I'm
and
saying? And
you on TikTok doing the Jeffrey Dahmer dance.
you doing a dance and you want to wear his glasses. Yo, Rick Ross, you're an idiot for doing that. Why would you? Just so you can style and be like, I got the Jeffrey Dahmers? You break them
Oh,
shit
man.
over your head. But
This is the society. This is the
you gotta
society living,
you
man.
also gotta remember this point too. You know, when they were doing all this, they were so wild at the prowess of black individuals or black men in particular. And they wanted that. They wanted to usurp that energy. Is the reason why they demonized and they did all these heinous things to remove our power, that struggle.
Hmm.
That term, you are what you eat, is a real term. They wanted to be us so bad that they felt if they can eat us, they can become us.
One
That's
thing for
crazy, bro.
sure. One thing for sure. Two things for certain. With the success of the Jeffrey Dahmer Netflix series, we're gonna be seeing some other series. I'm certain coming out
You
off.
said, yeah, son. I'm surprised they ain't even do a joint about the hurricane down in Louisiana yet. I'm waiting for
They,
that to come out.
nah,
They
there
did
was.
one?
Didn't they have? Yeah, there was a. I believe there was a documentary.
Katrina, there was a Katrina movie?
I feel like that there was a documentary about that. I feel like that there was a documentary about that. We're
This
literally
country
walking
knows
global.
how to
This television worth 40 million.
this country knows how to bank off of pain and
Hmm.
despair. That's a fact. That's an
And
absolute
now,
fact. Yeah.
now it's been even prior that existed, Rob, to the popularity, prior to the
Katrina Kids on
popularity of social,
HBO. Okay.
prior to
Yeah.
the popularity on social media that existed. So now it's been magnified with social media. You know,
Right.
like when you look online and you see, imagine that, like your family. Granted, I think it was like was it 1978 to 19 early 90s that all of this
Mhm.
transpired. That's still not enough time to heal from some of the stuff that people have experienced at the hands of Jeffrey Dahmer, like those families, and for them to, it just comes across as insensitive.
And like I said, remind you, he was caught. He ain't the only one like that, bro.
Mm,
He ain't the single most. He's not the single person out there doing that. That's
yeah.
why you gotta be careful where your kids go, who your kids with. You know, back to the parenting thing, being very cognizant of where kids are, what school they go to. We have to back to another point that we made earlier. Take things back into our own hands, man. Doing things ourselves. Don't be ashamed to sit with your child and do homework or teach him a way or teach him anything for that matter, man. Be very intricate and be very involved in what these kids are watching, what they're doing, who they're around. Make sure they're aware of who they're around, what the consequences are. All that is necessary
Yo,
because you
Rob,
got,
if you
mhm.
got $6,700, you don't have to do it though.
Son, if I got $6,700 a month, you know, I'll be
Yo,
good, bro. I can
all you need
start a
is
couple. I can start a couple of things I've been wanting to start. You know what I
yo,
mean?
all you need is $6,700 a month for all the homework out the
Change your
window.
life,
I paid you. That's all you
and
need to know.
that's crazy because in one of them videos that had Lil Marquis saying, "Could you live off of 67?" And the dude was like, "You damn right I can live off of 60. What's wrong with you? What
Oh
the
man.
hell is wrong? You can't live off of 60 dead broke. If someone was to say, yo, from this day forward, every month you will see 6,700 in your damn bank account, bar none.
Yo,
You can't live off of that a month? You gotta be kidding me, bro. Even in
somewhere
today's crazy society.
somewhere there's a mom probably living off of $670 a month. So
Thank you. He
it is
probably
it,
even less.
it is what it is. I think that that he's an idiot, and I think 50 Cent got his own issues as well that he need to deal with. Yo, I sent you the audio. Did you listen to the audio of Kim Kardashian's voicemail talking about Whitney Houston and calling her a crackhead?
Yeah, I listen to that, man. Let me tell you something. Anyone listening, be careful of what you say in the world. Because if someone could pull a receipt on their ass, on your ass, they gonna pull it.
That wasn't somebody, man. She sent that to Ray J. You know
He
Ray J
sent
got
that to
that.
Ray J. Ray J kept that receipt. That's what I'm saying. He kept that receipt like, oh, you gonna say something? I'm gonna hold on to this. This I ain't gonna bury this. Listen, man, be very careful. Be very careful. That's old. What's up? What
Yeah.
calm drip? What's up, Baba
Nah,
Love?
yo, that
My good
was
brother
that
Bob.
was that definitely was old. That was when she was alive and that she was involved with Ray J. But yo, my thoughts around it is that like yo, why do you think people feel so comfortable attacking the culture? Like, is there because yo, let's be real, like you've heard that joke said in circles. You've heard people say that about Whitney Houston. Now is
Not
now to
to
me, now hold on, Rob. Let me ask you, yo, here's the $1 million question. Is there a certain thing as an inside the culture joke that should only be shared or said amongst people inside the culture? Or is it fair game for anybody to laugh and crack jokes about? What's up,
nah,
GT?
neither, bro. Neither, man. Let me tell you something.
Nah, don't say
All,
that, Rob, because you know you
no,
heard
no,
plenty
no.
of people say that about her.
Although, because while she was alive and even after she was alive, people were always making jokes about Whitney,
Mm-hmm.
about how her transformation, how dating Bob, marrying Bobby, their habits, their lifestyle. I mean, even Bravo had a show with Bobby and Whitney, so they can publicize, they can put out
Yo,
into the
I'm
world
sure
the stupid
I'm
shit
sure
that
they
they
didn't
was
pitch it
doing.
to them though. I'm sure they didn't pitch it to Bobby and Whitney as we want to put
Whether
this on.
it's in
Right?
the culture, whether it's in the culture, outside the culture, there's no place for it, to be honest with you. Now, will people do it? Of course they will. Of course they will. But I don't think there's no place for us to sit there and defame and have anything derogatory to say about Whitney. And it sure enough ain't right or giving a green light for anybody else to come in and say anything. And if she said that back then, someone should have checked her ass back then. You know what I'm saying?
Ray J should have checked it because apparently he was the only person who knew until he leaked the
So
voice
you
memo.
leave it. And that's probably a ploy to what, to discredit her now? This chick is she's probably the reason why these chicks is on OnlyFans, because everyone is having sex all over the goddamn place. You know what I
Man.
mean? And her corrupt self, listen, bro, I'm not even going
So
that
so
that's
hold on. So for people in the chat, is there a such thing as allowing an inside the culture joke to go by? Right? Like if it's common knowledge that this is a joke that we have in the culture, is it acceptable for other people to crack that joke? Is it? I'm just asking
now
because
you just asking a question. You asking a
yo,
fair question.
what she said has been that I've been in many conversations where people have used that as a punchline. I've heard entertainers use it as a punchline.
You see the flack Eminem got for calling a chick a nigga?
Yeah, yeah, yo. So all right, so Jasmine says nope, nope. We ain't circling around that block. So why is it I guess why is it okay? I'm in agreement too. I don't think so. I don't think so. But so why is it okay for people to do it? Why do people feel comfortable doing it, you think?
Period. I mean, anybody doing it or just someone out the culture doing it?
People outside of the culture, why do you think they feel comfortable doing it?
Because of their involvement with people in the culture. They feel that they're comfortable enough. I've hung out with you. I feel comfortable around you. Here it is. And probably she was probably bitter at the fact that Ray J answered the call and he was dealing with Whitney. That's just a bitter individual that want to say something to get under somebody's skin. It's an old trick, man, to get you to do something that you shouldn't be doing, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's my take
Jasmine
on
said
it.
because we're not respected. What do others think? Do y'all think that this is yeah, so should we even be cracking the joke? Should we? Because yo, I want to just to flip it for a second. Remember, one of the biggest criticisms that people had of Bill Cosby was that he was airing dirty laundry.
Right.
You remember that Bill Cosby was getting up there saying a lot of stuff about yo, people got their pants sagging, they shooting each other in the head, they doing all the stuff, and dudes was looking at Bill Cosby sideways, like yo, why is it, why you airing the dirty laundry? Why is this all out there?
Right. He was getting on people, but see, when you air out people's dirty laundry, your laundry gotta get clean too, nigga. Now look, niggas gonna find out you've been out here popping pills and dropping pills in people's soda. And now you fucked up in the game, son. See? You can't. Yo, son, one hand wash the other. Both hands keep the face clean, son. When one hand is dirty, you going to be dirty, bro. You can't.
Yo, well, yo, so imagine if he was throwing stones but wasn't living in a glass house. Is it cool like he was saying it? Should he been in a public platform airing the dirty laundry?
Should be in a public platform saying that, these things aren't good. These things give us a bad reflection and make us look bad. Put your pants on, put a belt on, clean yourself up, look distinguishable. You know what I'm saying? Look like a person. But the way you go about it, you can't be you can't be doing that to people, bro. You can't.
Yo,
But we live in a culture though, but we live in a culture where, freedom of expression, freedom of opinion.
yo,
You have
Rob,
the freedom to say what
you ever hear when they said Bill Cosby was telling people pull their pants up and it was like, nah, you pull your pants up.
son. Can't do that, man.
Yeah, I just bring this up because I do think that, like there is I don't know if it's that, there are things that we've devalued about the culture that just makes certain things free reign for people that to say whatever it is that they intend on saying, like how we just said, like, yo, it's fine, it's just free fodder for anybody to joke on, or because these are public figures, nobody owns the right to say, like, nah, you can't talk about these people, because for some people, Whitney Houston is a hero. They look at her and they look at her success coming out of New Jersey and everything that she made herself,
Hmm.
grew to, and part of them, I'm sure,
It's also
separates
said that
with.
she was such a diva behind the scenes that if she didn't get her way, she threw a tantrum. I mean, there are all sorts of there's all sorts of stuff that go on behind the scene that we don't know about
Yeah.
these people, man.
But
That we that we
none of that stuff, Rob, none of that stuff that's behind the scene supersedes what's been the ongoing joke about her, that people for years have made fun of what they perceive to be Bobby Brown and Whitney Houston's drug use. And like you said, a television show
but prior
essentially
to that,
marketed.
there was an ongoing joke that she was so skinny that they thought she was doing drugs way before they knew she was doing drugs. Because why wouldn't Houston got these knobby knees and
Hmm.
all body disfigurate? You know what I'm saying? It was, you know, people can be mean. People can be just out of pocket a lot of times. And in our culture, in this way of life in America, you can say what it is that you want, and then the cancel culture comes in, and now people are super sensitive with how you say it. Now we got this fight between freedom of speech and having to be careful of what you say because it might rub someone the wrong way. Where do we go with that? Do you say what you want or do you curb what you want? I mean, now where we're pretty much people are saying, "Fuck it, I'm gonna say what the hell I want. I'll deal with the consequences later." You know what I mean? But then that might force you losing a fan or two or audience. So you kind of play the tightrope with that, man.
You know
Listen,
what the
man.
beauty of that though is though? That to me is the mechanism that's built in to tell people, yo, think before you say. Think before
Absolutely,
whatever
as
it
you
is you say.
should.
And the other part of it is that if the mechanism is built in that you should think before you say, then after you say it, you can't retract it and be like, nah, I didn't mean that. Because
Right.
everybody's well aware now that
Stand on.
comments are under a microscope, and if you say the wrong thing, you possibly could be out of it. So if you sat and you made a calculated statement that was off-putting or offensive or whatever it is to people, then the thought process behind it is kind of like, well, you had to know the environment or the social climate that we're in, where you should be a little bit more sensitive around the remarks you make. And I also feel like, honestly, that if you say something to offend a person or a particular group and they withdraw their support from you, it's their right to be like, nah, I'm not messing with them as a result. Like we talked about Kanye earlier. If people said that, the stuff that he said, I found offensive as a Jewish person, I'm not purchasing his goods or supporting his music anymore or whatever. To me, that's their opinion. Like, the same way he has his opinion or whatever he wants to say, whether you believe is right, wrong, or whatever it is, as a consumer, you have the right to be like, nah, whatever he said made me not want to support his music
Made
or
me
whatever.
uncomfortable. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
You know.
always been there. You always had that right. You always had that choice. I
Hmm.
don't think that choice should go away. You always had that choice to whether you want to support somebody or not, based on their views or what their ideology is.
You know
And
what? You know what I do think has changed though. I do think the part around where people will be like, push back around it, like, nah, that doesn't warrant you saying that you're not messing with this person no more,
mm,
right? Like there are people that do say like, he said this, but that doesn't necessarily mean you need to leave him alone outright altogether, kind of thing or
right,
whatever. And we was actually talking about this not too long ago. I don't know if it was when I don't know if you were in my house or something. Man, we was talking about R. Kelly. Who was we talking about R. Kelly? And we was talking about like, yo, who still listen to him and who don't. And I was
playing his
like, nah, I just don't.
music.
I'm like, yo, I just don't listen. Not that I didn't think that he was a great artist, but I just don't listen to his music.
I'm
You
gonna
know,
be
and
honest, yo. My playlist is so big, I'm not going through it to pick out R. Kelly's music. Listen, I like the music when I heard it, and if it came on today, I like hearing it.
mm-hmm.
Now, do I agree? I don't agree with nothing the man has gotten himself into, because I have daughters, I got sisters, I got
Mm-hmm.
nieces, I got aunts. You know what I'm saying? And I respect women at a such high regard that anything unwarranted is that's taboo, bro. You don't
Mm-hmm.
broke human code in my respect. Like you don't take advantage of people, whether old or young. You don't do those things, man. And um, you know, and if you want to separate him from his music, you can.
Mm-hmm.
But what's made is already made. Now, if you choose not to listen to him, like you said, that's
Yeah.
your choice. I don't make a concerted effort to listen to him. It's like I'm not after this. I'm not going to go listen to 12 play.
Yo, let me go put the Kells joint on.
You know what I'm saying? And rock out because I got me a little Casamigo and I'm gonna chill out for a night. I'm gonna blow something. Let me throw on some Kel. Let me two step. Let me step in the name of love. No, he's lost that from me. But because he's in my playlist and I have
Mm-hmm.
it there, I haven't filtered it out to say,
Yeah.
this guy is that guy. Listen,
Yeah.
he's like I said, the things he's done, he's got to worry about that, and
Yo,
that's it.
conversely though, like the way I feel about it is, I'm like, I don't. If people choose to listen to him, I don't see an issue with it.
I
You
don't
know,
listen. That's
I don't
you,
even
bro.
honestly, I don't have. I think I got one playlist. Like one extended long running playlist, and oddly enough, he wasn't. He just wasn't never. He wasn't in the playlist because I haven't. He's been embroiled in this controversy for so long. He don't got no new music for me to listen to anyway. So it was naturally easy. I'm like, I don't need to delete nothing or I don't have to delete anything. I'm just, I'm like, nah, I'm not messing
Yeah,
with the
and
dude.
even when it plays, I don't skip it. I don't skip it like
Mhm.
I'm not doing that. I'm not. And people can be in here, Mr. Rob or Rob, you listen to that? Listen, bro, put some earplugs on. Let my playlist play at my house. You
Yo,
don't
he
like
said
it?
you
Go in
listen
the
to
bathroom. Go outside for 3 minutes and 14 seconds, and then come back inside.
you get
I'm not
backlash
changing,
for you get
huh?
backlash for listening to him.
No, I forgot where I was. And that song, I don't know if it was in my house, was in somebody else's house, but a song, R. Kelly song came on, and people like, damn, did I miss the notice never to play R. Kelly? Like, people was just, how dare you? Like, the fuck you mean, how dare me, son? Don't tell me how to play music in my house. Listen, man, they about to make a movie. Did they already make a movie with Elvis? How many people went to go see that? And ain't nobody talking about his lifestyle. And this man done married a 13-year-old. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man. And that's the double
Yeah.
standard, man. We're gonna crucify R. Kelly. We're gonna crucify all these people. We ain't gonna crucify other people doing it, man. Get out.
Yeah, oh man.
Yeah.
Yo, so who thinks R. Kelly is a leader? Yo, Rob, I'm laughing, but I only say that because I think that we always make the mistake anointing these entertainers. Prior to him getting involved in all of this, I'm sure somebody probably was like, "Yo, man, R. Kelly's our go-to." Like,
Yeah,
why do we set the bar so
ever
low?
since verses. Ever since verses, people been fantasizing with R. Kelly being on verses. Who would R. Kelly go up against? You know what I
The
mean? And
Lord.
that goes to show that goes to show that people love his music, bro.
Yo,
If
Elvis
you're
is getting mad slander.
fantasizing, if
Elvis
you're
is getting slandered in the chat.
fantasizing, if you're fantasizing and imagining him on versus going against someone, in the back of your mind, you're singing, I Believe I Can Fly. In the
Mhm.
back of your mind, you're singing an R. Kelly song and saying, there's no other R&B artist that can go up against it because all the songs and all the stuff that this man has done.
For the people
Listen,
for the people that's in the chat, do you have R. Kelly in your playlist? Do you stream R. Kelly?
don't lie either.
You can be honest. It's nothing wrong with it. You know, if you listen, it's a personal choice. I guess is what I'm getting at. Because I've heard people say that they would never listen to a Michael Jackson song ever again. No,
Right.
so you know how you call it. It's just a matter of not R. Kelly at a versus. But for the people in the chat, do you still have R. Kelly in your playlist? Do you listen to R. Kelly? Not anymore. Do you
Not
seek
anymore.
out R. Kelly records? Do you be like, oh yeah, I gotta go hear the TP2 album? R. Kelly was bumping in the whip this week. All right, Nels. Nope. That's a nope. Let's see.
Outside of his issues, he's talented. I no
I know.
longer listen to
Listen
him.
to no.
We got it. We almost got a resounding no. Snake. Damn, a snake, huh? Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Nope. Damn.
Nope.
Damn. So it kind of sound like that. You know, people ain't really messing with him like that.
Nah,
I
man,
think it's to each his
this
own.
man
You know, like
abused children. He abused kids. He's a pedophile. Like no one wants to be. Is anyone liking Jeffrey Epstein? Nah.
yo.
Except for J.P. Morgan. That's
So
it. The
he's
only one that's still
so
like.
here's the thing. For the people who said no, next time Rob have the cookout next summer, you can't come to Rob's crib, or if Rob played at his crib for the three
See,
minutes and
now you're gonna have me go through
15
my damn
seconds.
list and pull out.
Nah, you don't gotta. Nah, Rob, you don't gotta take them out. You don't gotta take them out your list. I think it's like I said. I think it's a personal choice, and I think it's cool to separate the artist from whatever the actions, you know. And if you like it, you like the music, you like the music. And the reason why I say that too is because all of the ridiculousness that Kanye do or whatever, I still listen to Kanye music, not any of his new music because it's not good to me. But you know, like yo, you can separate the artist from it. She said, I
Okay.
mess with the music, not the man. Yeah. And you know what? Here's the other thing that we go all say. Even if
Yeah,
the
Robin said lyrics hit a little different now. Do you know why? Because all of the lyrics is the shit he was doing. I was like, this nigga implicated himself in everything he's in trouble for. Like he's a
that
fool,
yeah,
bro.
Diana said, like Rob said, he's on my playlist. If he comes on, I'm listening. So yeah,
That,
so
that's it. Because I've had it in there so long, and trust me, my playlist for R&B and sound. I mean, it's like shit, thousands of songs for me to sit there, and I keep it on shuffle for me to go through it and be like, "R. Kelly out of there, R. Kelly out of there." I mean, it can be done, but I just got way too many songs in there for me to just
mhm.
kind of do it out. You know what I mean? So
AJ nothing but a number. That was a good album. And that's the other thing I say about R. Kelly too. Like in some shape, form, or fashion, we listen to his creations because he wrote a lot of those records that we love. Like I didn't know he wrote "Fortunate" until recently by Maxwell.
mm-hmm.
He wrote it. He wrote a lot of hit records for
Put a
people.
lot of joints, man. So you gonna stop listening to Maxwell because
So
he's a
vicariously, you are experiencing R. Kelly.
yeah, son. Through a song you don't even know you wrote.
Age ain't nothing but a number, right? That's the number one implication. That's what we should have
Son.
done what he is about.
And that was the first one. That was the one we was like, yeah, this nigga's a nutcase. Leave him alone right there, son.
Oh man, that concludes our episode for this evening. But I do want to say this, Rob, because
Talk about
me and Rob been working behind the scenes, and Kenyatta been working also on it. You know, we got like a little passion project for No Ideas Original Podcast going on behind the scene. We talked about it and talked around it for a long period of time, but I feel like now finally starting to come together. So one of the things
yes,
that
sir.
we've aspired to do is to take the artists that we've interviewed on the podcast and create an album with them, like some of our favorites.
A
Um,
mixtape, if you will.
yeah, that you know, artists, producers, maybe even have interludes with some of the intellectuals that we've spoken to on the platform. And, you know, we started reaching out to people that we interviewed, and behind the scenes, we had talked to them. We always talk to people after the interviews and ask them, you know, if there's something they'd be interested in. Everybody is always like, yeah, you know, I'm interested. I want to do it. I want to participate. So now when we reach out to people and say, okay, so now here's the music that we're working with, we got a great support from
Got a great
producers.
response.
Yeah, producers sending us music, from
Good looking Radical Notion.
artists sending us verses or committing to give us verses. So I'm thinking that it's going to be something really, really, really dope, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited about it. One of the things that we want to do as a result of doing it is filming it also, so we could put together like a mini documentary around it as well, and show people that, like the making behind the scenes, the process of it. So it should be something really good for the podcast, and it's something that I'm excited about, something different.
Right. I'm looking forward to it too, man, because you know we've had candid conversations with all of these individuals we've had, and we've got to know them personally on some levels, man. Outside of, you know, we know them for what they do as far as music or any other thing, but these guys are some really good guys. I said, Rob, R. Kelly cannot be a part of it. Okay, R. Kelly's not part of that. We're not. R. Kelly is not going to be a part of this project. Trust and believe. But the ones that are, these guys are some great guys, man, and most of them have loaned us their time and their energy, and they're on board with it, and I'm super happy about that, man, because, you know, in this world, you know, everybody want a little something for something, and, you know, these guys see what we're doing, and they're willing to support us and encourage us, and I think that's a great thing, man. That means you and I, Shy, we doing something right, bro, because, you know what I mean? Ain't nobody hitting us over the head for nothing, man. They're doing it out of the kindness of their damn heart. Appreciate that, bro.
Yeah. I try to invite Janelle JS Self Care up, but you know she's not able to come up now. But Janelle, the reason why I wanted to invite you up, and you could put it in the chat and plug it. Janelle has actually released a self-care book.
Word, Janelle, hold on. Janelle, you got a book?
Yeah. She released a self-care book, which to me is a major accomplishment for her to even say that she's an author, and she's been on a self-care journey for a very, very long period of time. So Janelle, feel free to drop your link or share it, and I'll
Listen,
make sure
man.
I share the video. Okay, here
We
she
gotta
is.
get Janelle and Dr. Wade together, and that'd be a nice little conversation. She got a nice book too that you got.
Hi,
Hey,
my loves.
Hi, Janelle.
what's up, Nels?
I'm in the kitchen chefing it up since
How
I
about that? A Janelle in the kitchen. Another Janelle in the kitchen, huh?
making 4 chicken wings because my son is off in college.
Look, Janelle, I don't want to hold you or take you away from things, but I do want to give you an opportunity to plug your book, because I know the book came out, and we want to make sure that we support you.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate you. This was a great live. I mean, I was 14 minutes late, so I'm gonna go back and listen to my 14 minutes. But I love you guys.
Love you too.
The book has been in the computer for 2 whole years.
Wow.
It's called The Hard Truths About Self-Care, just different things that I learned on this journey.
Right.
To self-care. I mean, I'm glad you guys are doing a documentary for your mixtape, because a lot of people don't.
Yeah, her phone was tripping out anyway, it looked like.
Yeah, phone froze up.
She'll come back. But yo, Ty, what's up, Ty? Ty the chef, man. Somebody look up Ty the chef, man. This brother can make anything, man. He makes a great cheesecake too, just to plug that in there.
He froze up. Journey to Self. Okay, she's on her iPad.
She's coming back in.
Okay.
Poetry, man. Peace, God.
We'll send you another invite. Let's get her another invite so we can get her back in here.
Gracie J2. Peace. Yeah, bro. Nah, this project is gonna be nice, man. And I can't just being a part of it, man. It's gonna be another journey. The experience of going through this journey with these guys. I'm looking forward to that, man.
How you doing?
I guess I needed to sit on my router, right? As Fat Man Scoop say, go sit on a freaking router already, right?
All right, we can hear you. We can't see you. You frozen, but we can hear you.
I can
Okay.
see her. I can see her.
You can see us? Okay.
But listen, I've tried to sit on the router, Shannon. You got to give me some props on that, right? Like I tried. Yes. So thank you guys for shouting that out. The book is called The Hard Truths About Self-Care. Things that we all learned on this journey. Even when you guys became podcasters, I know I was there from day one
Absolutely.
when you told us. But what are some of the truths that you guys learned along this journey? You know, everybody ain't for everybody. You know, we create these boundaries and people just walk all over us. And that's because we have not been taught how to create consequences. If you do this, I'm going to do this, which makes people more accountable for their BS.
Ah.
So I have all of that in the book. It's on Amazon, but I also have some good news, and I'm gonna share it with you guys. I didn't even share it on my platform. I don't know if you guys know the Cove Lounge in Harlem.
Yeah, I've heard of
Oh,
it.
wow. You're familiar.
I've heard of it.
So my cousin owns it, and
Okay.
December 3rd, we're gonna start this book tour. I'm gonna do some events upstate. I'm gonna do some in the city.
How about that?
So I think it's December 3rd or the 4th. That Saturday, we
Right.
just you know, spoke about how she's gonna have staffing and stuff. So that's gonna be
All
from
right.
5 to 9. So if you guys are in the area, stop by. I think it's gonna be great. Make sure that you bring your business cards, because one thing, even though I be having all these events, I tell people bring your business cards. It's a great space to network in. I did get a plug with some therapists and stuff over there in the city. So we're going to have them there as well. So
Okay.
if someone want to talk to a therapist live, that'll be the space for you to go into and
Right.
just, you know, get out there. But I love what you guys are doing. As soon as the mixtape come out, y'all can call me at 11:59 so I can purchase. I can purchase, and I'm gonna be on live. Like, I got the first copy, y'all got it at 12. So anything you guys need, you know, it's no hesitation. It's an automatic yes. I love what you guys are doing, but I'm gonna tell you something, because I do feed off of energy. You guys need to do something for those fathers that's in these children's lives.
Absolutely.
And I'm gonna tell you why, because I do work in family court. A lot of my cases is in court, and I'm gonna tell you something. The system is changing, and the judges are now giving the fathers these children, because they're looking at us females and realizing, what's
Hello,
up,
miss.
Eric? How are
you doing?
Yeah. We need to get it out. So I don't know what you guys can plan or whatever. I do have a store. You guys are more than welcome to host the event in the store. I was gifted a store.
Nice.
So if you guys need it, it's most definitely yours. But we need to start celebrating the fathers that are there.
That's a fact.
It's a lot of them. It's a lot of them. And I'm
That's a
glad
fact.
the judges are now giving the fathers their children, because I grew up in the Bronx. We all know the fathers didn't even have a chance years ago in court. It was a waste of time for them to go to court, because nobody was going to listen to them. But now you guys are being heard, and keep celebrating your children. Post them. Celebrate your kids. Even when they acting up. I got an 18-year-old. Y'all already know he tried to jump in my face at 16. And to this day, he said, Mom, you treated me like you somebody in the street. And I said to him, you are from Maybrook. I am from the Bronx, and you're light on your feet. Don't play with me.
Don't play yourself.
We got to celebrate those too, because
That's
look,
right.
I knocked him out, and guess what? He's in college, and he's playing basketball.
Wait a minute. Wait, hold
on.
on. Say that again. You said you knocked him out?
I knocked him out in college. I mean, and we got it. I mean, y'all, we grew up together. Y'all knew my mother was famous for coming on Boston Road and slapping the crap out of me because I wanted to be on the corner. Okay?
Listen.
And look at me now. So
That's
the
right.
health
It
show.
worked.
I'm
It
not
worked.
saying beat your kids because I don't want to be your social worker. But what I'm saying is discipline and celebrate. So
Yo,
love
That's
you
right.
guys. Thank
Down,
you.
Jody.
so if you're not following, make sure you follow JS Self Care. Janelle, get the link over to me. I'll make sure I post the link also for you. We'll put it in the video because what we do with these lives, we also upload them to YouTube. So that way
Okay.
the link goes out and we can support this sister's book.
Absolutely. And thank you guys.
You're welcome.
All
We
right,
Appreciate
love
I'm
you.
you,
going
Mel.
back
We
to
love you,
cooking my
baby.
4 chicken wings. Hey, Eric, nice seeing you.
Don't burn
Love
up
you.
them
I
4
see you
chicken
with the
wings
kids. I see you with the kids. We
all the
doing
time, all the time.
Yeah, right there. So that's E. Me and E, we grew up together playing ball. And I spoke to Eric before we even put this together and was like, man, it'd be great to have you come on and talk because this brother online, when you see him on IG, like he's just such a strong presence in his children's life. And I thought that he could probably add dialogue
At
to the
all.
that we was having in terms of Marquise and 50 Cent with the $6,700 that Marquise was receiving and in child support. And we talked about it earlier, and I was saying like the financial element of it. Marquise, there's no way he could say or justify saying that $6,700 is not enough money for him
He
to
can't
actually be
count.
financially taken care of. But then the other part of it I was saying though is that I don't know if you could put monetary value on spiritual, emotional, mental support for your kids. So I'm just wondering, like, what's your thoughts around this?
Well, like your partner just said, he can't count because he don't know the value of money, the value of love, the value of monetary things, the value of time, space, opportunities to be with his father. So that's what
Right.
he lost from. Because I could take $67 and take care of my kids. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Like going to the park is free. Spending
How
time with
about
your
that?
kids is free. You know
How
what I'm saying?
about
So
that?
you don't have to have all the money in the world to take care of your kids. And I guess he just threw that he just threw that out there as just something to catch, I think, just to catch the people's ear. Because he wants somebody to listen. He
Mhm.
needs somebody to listen to
Right.
what he wants and what he needs from his father. And we
Right.
all know his father got a lot of money, but his father also ain't have a lot of time for his son.
Mm.
So the money weighing into the time is far off. So if father could turn around and give him $670,000 a month, he still might make the same statement.
Mhm.
He
That's a
want
fact.
that time with his father. So that might be what it was, and that was just something to catch everybody's eyes with because there's so much that people will look to about talking about money, money, money. If he'd have just said, "I
Right.
just want to spend time with my father," we probably would have looked at the post and kept going.
How
Yeah.
about that? And that's important, man. And people don't realize, man, communication, that communication goes a long way with your children, man. Especially if you got their ear and they're listening. Listen, bro, that encouragement and that love you could pour in that child change their life, man. And when it's not there, you can see the difference. See the
You def-
difference, man.
you definitely could see the difference because, like I've been working with kids for 22 years, so I've been on the up. I've been on one side and I've been on the other side, like kids that just needed an ear, just needed just someone to listen to, and some of them just to give them a little, just a little jewel. You ain't had to school them all along. You just had to give
Right,
them a little jewel. Like I used to
right.
tell my kids when I'm working, like, yo, I don't care what you want to do, but whatever you're gonna do, you're gonna be the best at it. And I'm
Mhm.
gonna
How
be
about that?
honest. I used to tell kids like, yo, you want to go hustle? All right, let's break something down to you. Let's talk numbers. Let's talk this. Let's talk that. Like, and they stuck. I said, yeah, you can't be out there thinking that you just could do. They call it easy money, so it's gonna be easy money. That ain't easy money. I said you gotta take everything that you do is about education, it's about counting, it's about reading the room, reading people, things of that nature that you need to know about everything that you're about to do in life. And if you don't know those skills, you're gonna be stuck because you could go like we always say, book smarts is great smarts, but it ain't all the smarts you need in the world.
That's
Mhm.
right.
Because if you ain't balancing out the street smarts and the book smarts, you'll get lost in this jungle. Because the book smarts will get you to a place, but guess what? That hustle will keep you there.
Yeah. So there's a discussion in the chat. Unlimited Faith '05 says, right, you don't. Children should not know about that anyway. That should be between the parents and in terms of what the finances are. Barcy BJ says, Unlimited Faithful 5, I have to respectfully disagree. I think if the child knows that the outside parent is contributing financially, it helps the kid know the parent is doing something. What are you guys' thoughts on that?
I can speak on that because me being a young child, my father and my mother was never really together. You know what I'm saying? They had what they had. My mother got married after I was born, whatever. So my father always was there financially. Every which way he was there financially. Physically, mentally, he was not there. And can I say my father was a good father? And partially in my eyes as a kid, I say yeah. But now as an adult and knowing both sides of the fence, no. But anything that I needed, my mom gave a call. Yeah, he's sending that money over.
Mm-hmm.
But me spending time with him once a month, maybe twice a month when it was good, or 3-4 months go by and then won't see him for only for like 2 days. That's not steady relationship with your parent.
Mm-hmm.
That's not something that gonna supersede. Oh, since he send money, then it's cool. That's not cool. The money part is, yes, it's going to help you financially, but at the end of the day, and we're going to say this both parts, I might get flack for saying it, but two people make a baby, but both of them got to financially take care of it. So
That's
you
a
want
fact.
him to just want him to spend the money and take care of the baby, but you don't want him to be around?
Yeah. So let's do this. Unlimited Faith 05 said, can she join the live? So we'll have Unlimited Faith 05. Come on, we'll give you 3 to 5 minutes to say your part, and then we'll open it up for Barcy BJ if you want to come on and rebut, or if you want to offer a rebuttal in the chat or explanation. But we got to keep it to 5 minutes, and we also got to make sure that everything that we're saying is appropriate, because IG will mess around and ban us. So Unlimited Faithful 5, send an invite, we'll bring you up. Barcy BJ says, I'm not saying that the money makes the outside parent good. I'm saying that it allows the kid to know that the parent is doing something. So let's see if
And that's a small part, because I tell you this, man. In my life, my pops wasn't there at all. I took my first picture with my parents at 38 years old. My mom's held it down, bro. And she never took my father to child support. She said, he don't want to be involved? All right. It's going to affect him later. It ain't going to affect me. And, I think I turned out all right. I'll be pushing 50. And I live a great life, man. I got some beautiful children in my life. I got a great wife. And I turned out all right, man. So, and I've respected my father still, even though after all them years of him not being around, when I seen him, I still looked at him as pops. I used to always say dad. And you know what I mean? I never, like, why you ain't never come? I did that early on, but as I got older, I said, you know what? Whatever he had going on in his mind while he was never there, he has to deal with that, not me, because I made it out of them circumstances of not having my father. Now, did I have a father there? Yes. My stepfather stepped in and was a perfect gentleman to instill in me what it is to be a man, what it is to be responsible, and what it is to take care of yourself. And I'm grateful for that, man, for the rest of my life. What's up, sis? How are you?
let's let the sister come on and say her part, because we see you in the chat, so I know you probably want to elaborate on what it is that you were saying. So we'll open the floor and let you say what you want to say.
Speak
Cool.
on.
Hi, gentlemen. Thank you. Wait a
You're
minute.
welcome.
What's going on?
Very welcome.
Okay. Oh, give me 1 second, guys. Please
Sure.
give me
Take
1
your time.
second.
No
Sure.
rush. Take your
Give me
time.
Look, for those that are in the chat, if you haven't subscribed to the No Ideas Original Podcast yet, please, the link is in the description. Hit the link, go to our YouTube page and subscribe, like, comment, and share the videos. We have a great catalog of interviews and discussions similar to this that we've been conducting now for upwards of close to 2 years. So go ahead, sis, you ready?
Yes, I am. Thank you so much for allowing me to come on.
You're
I
welcome.
hope everyone here is having a blessed and awesome day. I just wanted to elaborate a little bit more, because sometimes things we can misconstrue when we're typing what someone is trying to say. And
Right.
so I just always think it's best as an adult, we have a conversation where you can hear me and I can hear you out. I'm just coming into you guys as live. Yes, guys. Yeah. Give mommy a minute, okay? And then
See,
I'll open up the door.
being a mom, you can't take no breaks. You see?
I know, right? Being a mom and a nurse, I can't take any breaks. It's like all day long for me.
That's
But what
it.
I wanted to say, everybody's choice of parenting and style of parenting is different. For me personally, okay, and I'm just throwing in my 2 cents. I don't think that children should be involved into anything financial because really they're not thinking about that. They want to be able to see, they should be able to see is mommy and daddy getting along enough to take care of me. Can y'all give me just 1 second? I'm so sorry. I'm so
That's fine.
sorry.
Look, what she's saying makes
You
me
being
think about,
you being a mom right
an
now.
experience. What she's saying makes me think about an experience that I had, many years ago. I worked in child welfare, and we had an office in Orange County in New York, and I remember sitting in like these different meetings. We would have to sit in with the funders, and there was this discussion about a young lady who was coming from a residential facility and going back home. And when she went back home, the family had all these expectations in terms of what her contribution was going to be in a home. And she was probably like 14 or 15 years old, and she knew that the family was financially struggling. And I remember at one of the meetings saying to the funders, I was saying, like, part of being a kid is not having to really worry or think about those things. And the funder was saying, the funder was like, but this is an opportunity for the kid to contribute in the house. So to me, I kind of looked at that twofold. I'm like, yes, it's an opportunity for the kid to have transparency and have the kid involved. But, realistically, at 14 or 15-year-old, do you want to put that weight on your kid's shoulders of the financial burdens that the family carries? And then they sort of recanted and was like, no, we get what you're saying. I think we have to be mindful and conscious of what we expose our kids to if we want them to be kids. And the reason why is because we're quick to say, well, these kids are grown. Why these kids want to be grown? But if you involve them in adult conversation or put them in grown folk business,
that was my next response. I'm glad I chimed in on you or came in on you saying that, because I'm sorry to interrupt. That was my next response. I feel the same way. You can't sit there and be like, oh, stay in the child's place, and then you've invited them in conversations. For some reason, we allow so much that we see on social media mold our way of thinking, parenting, the way that we should carry about in our personal lives, everything in general. And we feel like because that's what we see, that's what we should be. And I'm sorry, you have your way of how you take care of your child, but that doesn't mean that's how I'm going to take care of my children.
Right.
My children are going to respect children and adults. I don't really care what's going on acceptable in the world. You should be in your place. My child at 9, 10, 14, whatever age, they don't care what daddy and mommy are doing. They just want to know, hey, I would like it if we all can get together one day and get together for my birthday party. Can we do that? Now, if you're raising your children, and this is why I wanted to respond to that individual in the comment box, but I knew it was going to be too long. And also people may not understand where I'm coming from. If you have two individuals that are on that type of mindset where they feel like, well, I'm just going to make sure no, you're going to make sure, we want to make sure everything is clear. No, that ain't none of their business. I understand how, you may feel like that's what you want. Now, I don't know if you're coming from, or a child is coming from a parenthood where they see mother and father always arguing, I don't know, but as best as possible. And I say this, you guys, I'm a single mother of 5 children. My oldest is 21.
God bless you.
My oldest is 21. She's a daughter. She's my daughter. My next is 17. She'll be 18 in November. I have a 14-year-old son. I have a 12-year-old son, and I have a 9-year-old son. I don't never speak about my business over the internet because I don't feel it's necessary in order for me to build my brand. But I'm going to tell you guys this. They just lost their father, my boys. His funeral is coming up on the 22nd. Do you think they care anything about what their dad did? And at this point, guys, I don't care what type of relationship me and his dad did or didn't have. At the end of the day, God rest his soul. That's all that matters. That's right. The father was there, and I'm going to make sure my children's last memory of their father is what they wanted to be, not what I wanted to be.
That's right. That's right. You're
Yeah.
still
And that's why I think that children should not be a part of any type of bickering, any type of, they don't need to know parents' businesses. That's between two adults. They weren't there when y'all had them. You had a foundation before them, so it should continue to still be that way. But unfortunately, we are trying to train our children to be, oh, I just want to, and I'm not saying everybody, because I don't have that mindset, and there's a lot of other women and men that don't have that mindset either. But there's also a group of, individuals, a large group of individuals that do have that mindset where they feel like they just want to make sure they know, they got to be aware of this. No, they don't need to know all of that.
That's
They
right.
don't need to
That's
know
right.
all of that. Because at the end of the day, I didn't care when he didn't have any money, when he didn't have no money whatsoever to help me with his boys. I still made sure I dropped them off. I took them their clothes they needed. I made sure they had their toothbrushes in their bag. It wasn't I did this. It wasn't none of that, because it doesn't matter. And even more so now that he's no longer living, I look back on it like, damn, even during the times we didn't get along, that shit didn't matter, because I still wish the best for him.
Right.
And we went through some hard, tough times, y'all. Like I said, I'm not the one to put my business on the internet. Y'all have no idea the stuff that I was going through, still getting on my platforms, building my brand every single day, staying consistent. But that is the role of a parent, to show my children, to show whoever is out there listening or looking, whatever the case may be, I am just as regular as you guys are. But the difference is I can't let what I know, this cycle called life, throw obstacles at me and stop me off my A game. I got to keep going. I was going through some tough, hard times. Do you think my kids care about that? Hell no. You think they care about what was going on between me and their dad? No. They just wanted to be like, can we get together for a birthday party one day?
Right. That's
and
right.
I had to suck it up and make that happen. So I don't care about the money thing. That's for people who are stuck on the money thing. At the end of the day, and that's why I always tell women, those who ask for my personal opinion, okay, because I don't just give it to anybody, because I can somewhat offend people when you hear my truth and how I really feel. I'm very assertive and I mean what I say. You know what I mean? I don't feel like me saying what I have to say has to be disrespectful. I respect your opinion, but I respectfully disagree. Okay. But I always tell women that are, oh, I need a man with 6 figures, 7 figures. Okay, that's fine. But what you gonna do when that man get a broken leg and he can't get up and work and then all the money gone? You still gonna leave your husband after that? You know what I'm saying? We are the backbone. We are the uplifters. We are the healers. We are the mothers. We are the first civilization of everything that comes after us.
Keep talking,
so
baby.
You can't just let your man go because he doesn't have at this very moment. So I look at it in all ways, and I'm sorry, I just had to come on here and
we appreciate that.
No.
We appreciate that.
Thankful for it.
Yeah.
I did not want for anyone to, sometimes we can misunderstand what we saying in those comments, and that's why I don't like to text, because it can come off a certain way. But
misconstrued.
Kids, children, they don't need to see that. Let them stay in the child's place. We're trying to, it's bad enough. Society is already trying to push them to be adults. You have the right to do that. You have the right. I get it. I know with the movement, I see the agenda, but that don't mean you got to roll with the flow. You got your own household. The Most High gave them kids to you. Stand up and do something about what you want with your own kids.
Yeah.
Talk that talk, sis. Talk that talk.
Thank you for chiming in. We'll open up the floor if anybody else wants to come in and
thank you for having me,
say
guys.
anything. Excellent comment.
I appreciate you guys.
Anytime, baby.
Unlimited Faith 05.
I think Bark CJ was she wanted to chime.
Bossy BJ.
I want to say one thing real quick, just piggyback on what she said. What it always happens to be is people always want to talk about their kids and about child's place and doing things, but then when you put a child in adult conversations, you put a child in adult situations, and then you turn around and get mad when that kid don't want to be a kid anymore, then you're wondering why that 13-year-old is now acting like he want to be 18, 19 years old, because every conversation you done had with your friends, he's sitting right there staring at you. or everything that you talking about your ex or your boyfriend or your girlfriend, you
allow them to have an opinion. Yeah, you allow them to have an opinion on you.
They feel like they have the right to talk. Now you want them to be quiet.
Yeah.
Right.
So Diana said, I agree. I'm a single mother myself. My children are grown men and their dad abandoned them, and I never spoke bad about the man. I let my children grow and decide on their own if they want a relationship with him. Jasmine, what's
There you
up? How
go.
you doing?
Long time no see. Long time no see. It's so good to be here. I want to
Good.
say
Likewise.
Yeah, and I know you want to weigh in on the conversation. I appreciate you chiming in. A lot of people, they don't want the mic or they don't want to come on camera. So the fact that you come on camera and engage in this discussion, thank you.
if not, I had to throw a hat on because I was in the house. Let me put this hat on. So first of all, I want to say that I agree with everything about everything that the previous woman said.
Mhm.
I think that she might have misunderstood what I was saying. So first, let me say that I have a 24-year-old who is successfully living in Atlanta, Georgia. She
Nice.
is, God, what is her position? She creative something, independent. Anyway, she's a contractor, and then she's doing really well. She has advertisements. She's doing really well. I would like to say that I did well by her. And one of the things that I learned, I'm Latina 100%, right? So you can't tell about what I look like, but I'm 100% Latina. And what was instilled in me as a young child was responsibility.
There you
And
go.
at 7 years old, I had to have chores, and I had to clean the bathroom. I had to make my bed. I had to everything. I had to rotate the towels.
Mhm.
Whatever it was, I had to
Right.
do.
Structure.
I had to clean chicken. Learn how to clean chicken, take the fat off, and
Mhm.
all of that. I couldn't cook it yet, but I had to clean it. Now, fast forward, I'm a grown woman, and now I have a 24-year-old. I have two 19-year-olds. They're twins, a girl and a boy,
Mhm.
and I have an 11-year-old. My 11-year-old started doing dishes at 3. When
Wow.
she was standing next to me, Mommy, I want to do the dishes. Oh, sure, come on,
Oh,
honey.
yeah. Right. That's right.
3 years old, and she loves doing the dishes. 3, 4, 5, 6, until she started school, 3rd grade. She didn't want to do dishes because now it's a chore. Now you got to do this. But she knows how. She's 11. She knows how to cook a full meal. She can make chicken. She can make spaghetti.
Right.
I made lamb. She could make lamb if she wanted to.
Mm.
She could make anything at 11. She can go to her friend's house and cook for them if the parents don't want to cook. So it's not
Yeah.
that I raise a grown child. I'm trying to raise a responsible child because she is not allowed to be in my business when I'm on the phone.
Mhm.
She's not allowed to be, if she repeats anything, let's say I'm talking loud because I'm a loud talker. Let's say I'm talking loud and she's like, Mommy, oh, for example, on my calendar, I have that I'm going to a vegan restaurant tomorrow with my girlfriend, but it was canceled and I never took it off my calendar. So we have the speaker that I can't say the name. We have the that says what's on my calendar. And she has the screen speaker where it shows the calendar in her room. She goes, I know where you're going tomorrow. I said, you need to mind your business.
There you
So
go.
it's not that I'm trying to raise a grown child. I'm trying to raise a responsible child.
Mhm.
So I said that so my eldest was 24 when I started this when she was 4 years old. Her father and I were bickering and fighting, and it was just ugly, right? Because it was ugly.
Mhm.
Not once between the age of birth and 4 did I say anything bad about him. At 4 years old, I remember we didn't have milk or we didn't have something that she needed. And I was like, I'm sorry, baby. Mommy doesn't have any money, but I think I'm going to have some money tomorrow or whatever day, and we're going to get it. And we had food, but we didn't have something she needed or wanted.
Mhm.
So I go the next morning to the mailbox and we had a check. And I said, look, I want you to know that I said I didn't have any money, but this money here is for you so that you can eat or for whatever it is you need. And it's coming from your father.
Mm.
I had nothing nice to say about that man, nothing. But this was the nicest thing I could say about him. So let me say something nice.
Right.
So I told her that, and she was 4. She didn't really, and like the other woman said, they don't really care. Kids don't really care. But she cared about whatever we didn't have, right? We didn't have whatever she wanted. And guess what? She cares about how we going to get that something that
Right.
and this is how we going to get that something. So now
Right.
let's go get that something. And because we got this from your father, we can now get you some Oreo cookies or something. I don't know.
Right. That fills the void.
Right. And because of your dad contributed, we're able to do that. And so every time she would get a check from her father, and I say she, because the money's child support. So if it supports the light, if it supports the gas, if it supports the rent, whatever. It's for her. She's the reason why we're able to be supported. So I say every time she gets the check, I would let her know, hey, baby, we're getting this. When she was old enough to ask for money for like school or mommy, can I get some lunch? I'll be like, I don't have it, but your father might have sent, so, whatever. When she was then old enough to have a relationship with her father, mind you, a little backstory, she didn't want a relationship with him because he was a stranger.
Wow.
Not because I didn't know him or didn't like him or I spoke back, but he was
He
a
was a
stranger.
present.
I'm not ready. No, that's too much. When she was ready, I said to him, she's ready to hang out with you, to meet you, to be with you. And I never once, 14 years old, never once said anything wrong. What she said was, if he wants me to spend the night at his house, can you come? I called him up. He's married. I called him up. Hey, listen, she wants to come over, but she's not comfortable going by herself. She says, if I can go, do you think you and your wife would allow that? This is me, mature, not caring about him in a personal way.
Yeah.
He said yes. His wife didn't mind. I went over there. She spent time with her father. This is her, by the way. She's like way older than that. Spent time with her father. And now she's 24 and they are the best of buddies.
Look at that.
And so it's not because, and she's not grown at all. She's the most humbling child ever. So it's not that I'm saying that the child should know what the father, about the money part, that the child should know the outside parents' financial
Involvement.
contribution. I'm saying that there's some things we need to implement in our children, whether we're the mother or the father, to say that the outside parent is doing something.
Well, it's funny you say that, because listen to you tell it. I think like it's important to have context to these conversations, and hearing it from that perspective, it's almost like kind of like fostering, using it as a tool to further foster the relationship. Like, your dad is not, he's not absent. This is your dad's contribution at this period of time in life, kind of thing. I think that's different than the impression of like, yo, well, your dad sent, your dad's sending $50, or your dad's supposed to send me 75s, or this, that. I think it is a very, very different approach.
I think that's unhealthy. I think to say, don't get me wrong, my daughter who's 11, her hair now today to get braided is $200. I'm in New York. I'm in Brooklyn. $200. And I'm like, yo, I need help. $200? Like, this is a lot. And her camp was $700, $800, and then there was like so many other expenses that he would call her phone and not call my phone. And then he would say, hey, how you doing? What you doing? And I'm like, show him your hair. Show him how you look. Show him what you got. Tell him what you got. Because guess what? In the end, I'm buying this stuff anyway. I'm the reason why she is going to school confident. I'm the reason why she has what she has. And whether
he's still in that.
Still going to get it. I'm her mother. Like the other woman said, we're still here. We are the foundation of these children. We're going to do the best that we can do. So if he's not contributing and I'm struggling, and I say to him, hey, I'm struggling, you should give me a call because I need to talk to you about some financial stuff. I would say in front of her, but I'm not going to say, oh, you need to give me this, oh, you need to give me that. No, you're not calling me. So I need to talk to you through her phone. She's not going to give me the phone because you're not telling her to give her the phone. So it's also about, like I said in the text, it's about the maturity of both parents. With my eldest daughter, he's mature. I'm mature. We can do that. With my youngest daughter, it's not the same. So the conversation and the way the conversation is
different.
A little different. So, that might seem like, oh, well, my daughter knows a little bit too much. She might know, oh, mommy and daddy's not getting along when it comes to money. And she might know that, but at the same time, if he does give money, I'm like, baby, your father just hooked you up. He gonna give you this, or he gave you this. Let's go shopping and video record him to show him that
where his money going.
Yeah, you're appreciative, right.
Right, and I would flip it so that it looks like this genius and like I really care. And I really don't. But I'm just saying, she she just needs to know that mommy's down for, oh, this is what daddy did. Let's cheer him on.
Right. Let's big him up for supporting and doing his part. That's right. That's right.
So I think it's real petty for any parent, and this is my personal opinion. I'm sorry if you have any viewers or listeners who feel differently. I apologize, but me too. I don't have a filter when I feel like something is wrong or right, in my opinion. But I think that it's real petty to talk about financial, personal stuff like, your father's not giving no money, and the Con Edison.
Yeah, the
That,
putting people down and putting the negative connotation on whether the money's important versus
right.
the involvement in the child.
Hmm.
You shouldn't battle with those two. You know what I'm saying? You should
Right.
leave a context for the child to know your father's here, he's doing his best, and when he can do what he can do, he's gonna show and prove that he can do it for you. And
Let
you
me
keep that consistent. You know what I'm saying? So the child be like, all right, that's my dad. My dad just hooked me up. You know what I'm saying?
let me ask this though. Like, have you ever encountered any situations where your children may be like, you know, forget the money. I'd rather him come spend time or take me out or do this or do that. Did that ever come up?
Um, Unfortunately, I would have to say for my 24-year-old, time was everything because she didn't know him, so she
Mm,
needed to spend time. It wasn't about what she needed financially because she was
Right.
good. So time was everything. So I would have to say that the foundation of that was about time.
mm,
He already knew when he was given money, so that wasn't a factor. She
mm.
just
Right.
needed time to spend with him, and I think that as long as I get, it wasn't, to be honest, it wasn't until she turned between 16 and 18, one of those ages when I was like, girl, I can talk about your father now because y'all have a great relationship that I can't break. And
Hmm.
because she's older, I could be like, if you only knew, I would say something like that. Friends that way,
But
but
she
she
had already formulated her opinion of him.
exactly, and that's all I needed for her to have her relationship and her
Hmm.
foundation with her father. Then I would say stuff, and she'd be like, mom, and I'm like, fine, I won't say that, but it was cute banter. I can't say nothing bad about the man now because he's 100% in her life
Hmm.
at 24. He visited her new home before I could. I was like, why are you there before me? That's not fair, and we laughed. So, but my 11-year-old is different because her father tries to spend time, and but has some other issues that will take away time and money.
Mm.
So it's like at this point she's so disappointed that she's like,
Oh,
I don't even want to see him. Nope,
damn,
nope.
Right.
And then
damn,
she
And that's not what you want. You don't want that type of that's tough. Yeah. I got you.
damn.
I got you with that one.
now it's like, ooh, what do I do? Because I don't even want to ask him for anything. I don't want to tell him if she needs anything because that's not, I don't want her. Right now, she's developing this. Well, if he's going to buy me this, then I'll see him. Or if he buys me that, then I'll call him. Like, no, we don't want to do that. That's
Yeah.
not,
Right.
because I
Link the
don't,
relationship to what financially he could provide.
right,
Right.
but to provide, I don't want you to call me just because you need money. I put myself in, I don't believe in child support, right? Because I put myself in a man's position. If you gonna give money because you want to, because it's your kid and it's your responsibility, great. I'm down for it. But if you're not and you're gonna walk away. I'm still here. I'm gonna provide, I'm gonna do my part. So I don't feel like forcing someone to financially to do something that they don't want to do is healthy because you don't know what the person's position is. You don't know what
Yeah.
or mother might be going through that you forcing them to contribute to your child. Like it's just, you don't know what they're going through and you might be putting them in a worse position than what they already are. Now if they have the money like 50 Cent and they got the money and
Hmm.
you like, I need some child support, I think you should be satisfied with $6,700 a month and still work.
More than
Yeah.
satisfied. Yeah.
Yeah. I think, but you know something, like if you talk about like just if the relationship, if the nature of the relationship is rooted in solely what a person could get from somebody financially, that's a recipe for disaster, right? Like
Right.
if your interaction with your kids is rooted around how you can financially contribute, that's not the basis for a good relationship because there may come a time when you can't financially contribute, you know? So is who you are as a father being measured by what you can do financially, and then when you can no longer do it, you suck as a dad. Like
Right.
that part I don't agree with. I think that, a man should be financially responsible to support his child. But I also feel like you have other responsibilities aside from just the
Outside of money. Right.
Time, time is key. Time is key.
Mhm.
Time is key. Time.
That's it. You can't beat that, baby.
Yeah,
Yeah.
E, I see you chomping at the bit. You want to say something, E?
I was just saying that it's the balance. You just need to try to do the balance. Because sometimes the financial part ain't always going to be the top part. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying?
That's right.
If you're balancing, it's just like life. You're going to balance your life. We might be having a good couple of years and more money coming in. You might give more money. Then sometimes when you ain't got the money, you got to give more time. It just have to be a balance and
Yeah.
just seeing what's needed. If there's a lot of times where we say like some kids may be a strong male figure in their life at that time and moment. That means that it's more time needs to be done from their father's standpoint than maybe the mother, which we do have mothers like yourself that's able to do both parts because guess what? There's no other choice. So a lot of things that we always talk about, how these fathers just have options and they have choices, like you come and go as you please, when mothers are there from day one to the day
Day
end.
one. And they ain't got no
now
choice.
that you
Right.
have to fill in voids from if your child's mother is doing certain things and you as a man or as the father has to come in and bridge that gap. You have to fill in those holes to make that kid feel comfortable in their own life. It ain't about, like I even tell people this, when you have a kid, it ain't about you anymore. It's about that kid. It's not about your feelings. It's about the kid's feelings. It ain't about your feelings anymore. You have to pull your feelings back in order to make your kid feel good. That's what you're going to do.
Right.
That's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
That's what you're supposed to do. That's a fact. That's a fact.
Yeah. Anybody else want to come up on the panel and chop it up? Jaslyn, any last words before we
Just that, I agree with the other woman that, when you writing stuff down, you just don't know what is
it
actually
gets
Where they
lost in
coming from?
translation? Yeah.
It is.
And that's why this world is so crazy now, because we got texts and emails and iPads and this and that. And you be like, I didn't mean that.
Right. And it's an emoji or an emoticon. It's like, wait a minute. Like, so I know I get what she was saying. I was in here on the other side, like, that's not what I'm saying.
Right.
Kind of glad that you guys have this format to actually bring us on to clarify some things because, again, I'm big on raising children with responsibilities. When my eldest went to college, she was the only one who knew how to do laundry in her dorm area. So it was like she was like, "Mom, thank you," and I was like, "Thank you for what?" She was like, "I'm the only one that knows how to do laundry," and I was like, "Wow."
How about that? See that?
She was the only one who knew how to make a turkey for Thanksgiving before she came home. She was like, "Mom, I offered to make the turkey for Thanksgiving." And I'm like, "Oh, you did?" She was like, "Yeah." She goes, "I'm going to use your recipe." And I was like, "Okay, remember the secret." And, it was exciting. So, yeah, my 11-year-old can't appreciate, the chores that I give her now. But when she gets older, knowing from my
She'll get
24
there.
and my 2 19-year-olds that she'll be like, "Mom, thank you." Because there's no reason why you're asking me for iPhone 14 and you don't want to clean your room. I don't understand.
Yeah,
So
she'll get there.
and you're asking me for money, $50, $100, $200 sometimes because of whatever, $200 sneakers, and you can't do your chores. No, you have to work for it. So I just believe that, children also should know where the money's coming from, or not even like 100% of what you have, but they should know that you work hard for
That
it.
money don't grow on trees. Yeah. That's we grew up that way. Money don't grow on trees.
That's structure, man. When you lay structure, they may not understand it in the beginning, but like you said, your daughter appreciated the fact that she learned how to do laundry, and then she see her peers like, hold on, y'all
Nobody
know how to do
instilled that jewel
laundry?
in me. Yeah.
African culture. She has a friend that's like her parents are straight African, and a friend who's Muslim, and so the parents. And she was like, "Mom, her African friend, she couldn't spend the night out. She couldn't hang out after a certain time. But her African friend, she would come over here and be like, Miss Barcelona, do you want me to something? I'm like, can you?" Like, yes. And my daughter's like, "Mom, she has to cook for her siblings at home." I'm like, "Are you in middle school?" So I'm like, yeah. I think that kids should know that, mommy works hard. How much money you want? You're going to have to work for it.
You got to earn it.
You need to instill that. I told her this is a very, very, very good comment. Money has become God and love has become the enemy. I agree with that 100%. But yeah, that part around responsibility and teaching responsibility and modeling responsibility is extremely important. I just think that you have to find a balance with it also. Like, growing up, we had chores and we had things that we were responsible for that we had to do. Like I tell people a lot, when I was younger, one of the things that I had to do was that I had to, that's your daughter right there, right? I had to like take my younger brother to school and bring him home from school and everything. And I used to be like, damn, like, yo, I got to be lugging this dude around and everything. But I think, honestly, after a while, as I've gotten older, I begin to appreciate it. I'm like, when my parents were instilling in me responsibility, like, yo, you have to look out for your younger sibling.
Look out for your
You
brother.
have to clean your house because when you get older, you're going to be in a position where you have to clean the house. Here's the list to go to the store to buy groceries. When you get older, you have to be able to go to the store to buy groceries. You should know how to do your laundry, iron your clothes, do a dish, or whatever it is, So those things, I think, yes, like we have to impart that into our kids to make sure that they become successful, responsible adults. But putting like the financial burden on them, that's when it becomes crazy, because there are some of the stuff people do and they ask of people is completely different. Like, you can't involve a 14 or 15-year-old in whatever your financial struggles are. Like, damn, I guess we can't make rent. We can't pay the rent this month. What you gonna go out and do? Like, that to me is crazy.
That kind of parenting is toxic. And so I just wanted, because she's on, I have to give her a shout out.
Yeah, she said, "Hey, Ma."
And her boyfriend is on here too. But I have to say that she is extremely pivotal to my blueprint of parenting, because parents are not perfect.
Nope.
We learn as we continue to parent, right? Because
Right.
we don't give a book on how parenting is. And
That's right.
I have to say that she was the beginning of my parenting experience, and I learned so much from parenting her that it is because of her that I feel like certain conversations should be had. She even told me maybe a couple of months ago, she said, "Mom, maybe you shouldn't tell, Azuri or Zoe, my twin daughter." She said, "Maybe you shouldn't tell Zoe too much, because then she won't come to you for help." Because I share with them the struggles, the real life daily struggles. But I do that because I want them to know life is not going to be easy unless you.
Peaches and cream all the time, right?
Yeah.
And so I don't want them to think, "Oh, mommy's got it. Mommy can handle it." No. Mommy's got it. Mommy can handle it. But that's because I did this, I did that, I did the third. And so because of that, I'm able to do this.
Yeah.
So I gave you $100 because I always have $100 to give you whenever you need it. At 19 or 24, it's because I was able to do what I needed to do.
Right.
$100 to give you. So, these lessons that I speak of with my children when it comes to money and the contribution of the father to them is just so that they know it's not a one-man show, and it's not easy, and to work hard for it. Like, those three things are vital in life. Period. There's no way I'm gonna. I have parent friends who coddle their children, who's like, "No, I'm not gonna let my child do that," and I'm not gonna. And I get it. And I don't step over their toes at all, because it's your parenting style. But don't question my parenting style when I say that my child has to be in bed by 8 o'clock and can't be up until 10, 11, and my child has to, And not that there's nothing wrong with that, because my friend's daughter downstairs goes to bed at midnight, but she's a straight A student at school. I don't know how
people do what work for them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, I'm not saying nothing's wrong, but there's different ways of parenting, and mine is just straight up responsibility. Know what's happening, know the truth. I don't want you growing up thinking that I got it like that and I'm giving it because I got it. I want you to grow up knowing that I worked hard for it, and that's why you got it, because you too worked for it. You earned it.
That's right.
Facts.
Mama Barcelona, you are the dime, baby. Keep doing your thing. God bless you and your children.
Thank you.
Baby girl, hope you're doing your thing out there too, man.
She's dope.
The parents with Zobies are great. You see that, right?
That's right, yeah.
You guys should follow her. She is about influencing women of all ages, young, older. She started off with PCO. Look at that's her boyfriend. She started off with PCOS. And had like acne all over her face, and the media used to get on her, like they were making fun of her. I thought it was gonna kill her and tear her apart, but she was resilient and she overcame that, and now she has a gazillion, quadrillion followers. I bet you if she got on this, her followers would see it and be like, "Oh, jump on it too." She's dope. Yeah, I should follow her.
Yeah, I just followed her. So I want to thank everybody for tuning in and participating. I think this has been a great discussion. If you're not following the No Ideas Original podcast, hit the link in the description. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe on our page. Like I said earlier, we're working on also doing our compilation album for the No Ideas Original podcast, which is going to feature artists that have appeared on the podcast and producers that appeared on the podcast. Ayatollah, we reached out to you.
Yo, Tola, we need you, Tola. Yeah, I was about to say.
To make it happen to us. And for those who don't know who Ayatollah is, if you listen to Miss Fat Booty by Mos Def, he is the producer of that record. and this man makes classic records. So we hoping that we get him on the album also. Thank you everybody for tuning in. We'll catch you on the next episode. Peace out, everybody. Have a good night.
Peace.
Peace.
That was dope, bro.
Dope episode, everybody.